All right, we are live. Welcome. This is Orion Rising. I am your host, Leonard O'Neill. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good morrow, depending on where in the world you are tuning into the show. Okay, show this out, show this out, show this out. Welcome, everybody. It is Friday afternoon. I'm a little late. Instead of going live at 3 p.m., I'm going live at 4 p.m. this week because my wife was working and her lunch was at 10 a.m. our time. So I'm going to live at 11 a.m. our time because she's back to work now. I didn't want to miss an hour with my wife during lunch. So I just decided to put my show back 1 hour. So instead of being 3 p.m. Friday night on the West Coast of the United States, it is 4 p.m. Friday night on the West Coast of the United States. I'm 1 hour behind or 1 hour in front, however you want to look at it, right? Okay, let me take down this banner so you guys can see me here, right? Hold on a second, let me find that, take that down. There we are. All right, so I'm going to put myself up in full screen. Okay, so the Emerald Tablets of Thoth and my mustache is crazy because I was running around and getting stuff done. Let me go back over here in the chat. So if you guys are in the chat, say something in the chat, and I will see you guys in the chat. I'm monitoring over here. I'm monitoring the Instagram, and over here I'm monitoring YouTube and Facebook over here. So Reese, welcome, brother. Cool, right? I know. I started an hour late this week, just because, like I said, Brooke had lunch at 10 our time, and I was like, yeah, I'll go an hour late because it was either that or I went like at 8 o'clock our time, which would have been like 2 o'clock over there, and then cut it short and just go 2 hours and then quit because my wife was coming home. So I decided I wanted to spend time with Brooke. So I said, I'll just go an hour late. Simple as that. If anybody doesn't like it, they can tune into somebody else. Okay. So, right. So thank you for showing up, Reese. I love you, brother. we gotta talk more. We got a group where some of us do, talk literally on camera, call one another. We were on the phone last night with Ray, Peter from Ireland, and myself and Brooke, but we're trying to get everybody else in there as well so that we could actually talk and hang out, right? Like we were doing on a Zoom call, only we're just doing it on a chat where we just call one another and we can talk about stuff and whatever's going on. So we're gonna have to add you to that and see if we can get you to come in there and hang out with us. If not, we'll just, maybe Brooke and I will just call you and then we'll hang out because we're always talking and working with people. A lot of people, like some people that I haven't talked to for a while that are coalition friendly or coalition that I haven't talked to. We've been doing a lot of hooking up and a lot of talking. And then on TikTok, we've got a big presence now starting on TikTok. And I've been live on TikTok a couple of times. Last week when I did the show, I was actually had my phone sitting here and I was live on TikTok at the same time. I just decided not to do that today because I have other things to talk about on TikTok that I'll probably do either later today or tomorrow. I had some interesting conversations with the AI bot from Google, and when you can ask AI questions. Yesterday, I spent a couple of hours talking to the AI bot, asking many questions, and got some really cool, some crazy answers with some things that prophecy talked about. And I went, wow, this is weird. Maybe they have access to prophecy. But I did find out that the AI bots don't talk to each other. So like Google's AI bot does not talk to the AI bot from another company and vice versa, because they're aware that the AI wars are going on, and they're aware and they're worried and concerned that if they start communicating, that they'll have somebody in one corporation will be trying to get the AI bot of their corporation to infiltrate and attack the other thing. So I asked them if they communicate, and they said no, they don't actually communicate. So like if the AI that DuckDuckGo has does not talk to the AI that Google has. So they don't. So search engines, the AI of those search engines don't talk to one another out of fear that they're going to. Yeah, I mean, I know you're busy with the move, brother, but hopefully that'll settle down too. I understand that, bro. I understand that. I'm just trying to let you know that we're trying to do that with everybody, and we're not forgetting about you, because I don't want people, because apparently that was going on with a certain group of people that I guess they felt that they were being left out of some sort of secret meetings when there wasn't anything like that even happening, because Brooke's mom died and then my mom died, and all we were doing was that kind of stuff. We weren't even talking to anybody, but apparently everybody was assuming that we were having some sort of secret meetings, and they were not privy to that, so they got a little upset about that, and decided to, well, you were there, you saw, they all decided to like storm out of a chat like it was some big deal, like in my mind or someone else's mind, that they were going to do that to harm me or Brooke or Ray or somebody in some way, which we didn't even notice that they were even gone. We still don't, you know what I mean? So, I mean, whatever. They can get angry for whatever reason that they were angry, thinking something was going on, some sort of conspiracy theory was going on in their minds. Okay, I got something on my glasses and it's bugging me, so I'm going to have to take them off. Don't know what it is, but I can't get it off. So I'm just going to have to work around it today, folks. Okay. So anyway, Reese, I know you guys are doing a lot, and you're busy, brother. I'm just saying, I don't want you to think that there's something going on and that we're leaving you out of the cold, because we're not purposefully doing that. We're trying to give everybody their space to decide what they're doing in their lives. And oh, by the way, we have a group where we're all actually calling each other on a phone and chatting, but sometimes that gets annoying when we're just talking about mundane things. But sometimes it's just fun because we're all just hanging out on camera. You know what I mean? Talking about stuff. So anyway. Yeah, so just let me know, brother, when you get if you have time. I would like to talk to you about a lot of stuff that's going on that you might be interested in. Yeah, let me know what's going on there. Woo Riders, welcome. So welcome everybody. So if you're on Instagram or you're on YouTube or you're on Facebook, we're not live on TikTok today. That's actually really annoying the way that works. TikTok won't let you go live. Like, I can't take this studio of StreamYard and go live. I have to use TikTok Studio, or I have to use it on my phone to go live. So I can't broadcast from another platform. So I did last time. I just set my phone down. I set it up in front, right here in front, and so they were only about this far apart, so I could just look at the two cameras. That was okay, but it's hard to monitor all the chats because Instagram doesn't filter into the studio. And when I'm live on my page, the Facebook chat doesn't filter into the studio either. So I have to have one monitor for YouTube, one monitor for Facebook, one monitor for Instagram, and one monitor for StreamYard. It's kind of annoying, but you gotta do all that, right? That's cool, Reese. So yeah, happy Friday, Deborah Anderson. Welcome. Like I said, Woo Riders, welcome. Yeah, God bless to all. Woo said, God bless to all. Okay, so namaste, and then I see, what is that, Prince? What is that, Prince Luciad, I think is what it says. I apologize, brother, if I said that wrong, because your name has no spaces. Right over there on Instagram. You can talk on Instagram, and I will answer your questions. Okay, so we're on the Emerald Tablets of Thoth today. We're getting close to the end of that. We're on tablet 13 out of 15. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time. We'll just get right into Emerald Tablet 13. I'm not even sure what it's about. I'm running late. Like I said, I just popped on and said, crap, I got like 10 minutes to get live. And, because I was eating lunch with my wife, that was more important. Life sometimes needs to be more important than other things. So I apologize to anybody that got annoyed because I started an hour late today, but it was just the way it worked out. My wife was literally, that's the only time she has for lunch, and I was not going to miss her for 8 hours. So we had lunch together, and now I'm live. Okay, I love you guys. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to do a sound check. One of you guys let me know in the chat if you can hear it okay. I'm going to turn the sound up, and let me get myself out of my ugly mug off the screen and go in full screen over here with the YouTube channel, and we will start Emerald Tablet 13. I'm not even sure what the tablet is titled right now, but we're going to do a sound check. You guys let me know if you can hear it okay, all right? Here we go.
Tablet 13, the keys of life and death. Listen ye, O man, hear ye the wisdom, hear ye the word that shall fill thee with life. Hear ye the word that shall banish the darkness. Hear ye the voice that shall banish the night. Mystery and wisdom have I brought to my children, knowledge and power descended from old. Know ye not that all shall be opened, when ye shall find the oneness of all?
Thank you, Reese, for that sound check. So, the keys of life and death. So we're going to find, I'm sure that we'll find, I'm going to let it play, but I'm sure that we're going to find that it's going to have to do with, because it already sounds like it, right? Hear ye the voice that shall banish the night. Okay, so we're already again talking about the veiling and pulling back the veil. Okay, so banishing the night. Hear ye the voice that shall banish the night. Right, a mystery and wisdom have I brought to my children, knowledge and power descended from old. So this is going to be the information on how you can become one with the creator, whatever you want to call that, the creation, the creator, as well as becoming unveiled. So as you're moving from third dimension into fourth dimension, you need to know this. Whether or not you're evil or not doesn't matter. You can be evil and be self-serving, and you're going to unlock a different kind of knowledge than the people who are in service to others. There's a different package of knowledge for people who are in service to self and people who are in service to others. But you will unlock one of those packages, even if you don't believe that you're part of anything. And if you're an atheist, literally, it doesn't matter. You still gain the knowledge. You still gain wisdom, either being self-serving or being in service to others. You don't have to believe in a creator. That doesn't matter. The universe doesn't dictate. There was a Viking by the name of Herger once that said true prophets demand nothing, and he was telling Ahmed that that was in the story of Beowulf. True prophets demand nothing. True gods demand nothing. So the truth is that the creator of the universe does not demand that you believe in the creation or the creator of the universe at all. In fact, you're encouraged to do whatever it is that you want to do. Either way, you still end up unlocking knowledge from the universe that is pertinent to your existence, either in service to self or in service to others. Okay. And at this point, they're talking about it in the context, I'm sure, when Thoth was talking about this, the keys to life and death. So they're showing light and darkness in service to others and in service to self, and he's using the vernacular of life or death, right? So we'll see. Let me continue here. Let's go over here and we will continue.
One shall be with the masters of mystery, conquerors of death and masters of life. Aye, ye shall learn of the flower of Amenti, the blossom of life that shines in the halls. In spirit.
Okay, so now we're talking about the flower of life, right? So, and still, it's people who don't believe that this stuff is real, they can still say, this was just invented in 1929. People knew about the flower of life. They could have just been copying this information. It's very possible. That is possible that they could have been doing that on a person level, on a third dimensional level. Who knows? Maybe let's just say that everybody is correct. One person somewhere back, 25,000 years ago, 50,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, sat down and wrote all of this, and then everybody just copied it and turned it into a slightly different story. But weirdly, the actual story of the Christ oil, the story of the ascension, was never changed. Everything else in history is always changed. Every story is changed when one person tells the story to a new person. Then that person tells a story to someone else. They change the story. So if somebody were going to write a story, they're always going to change it in a way because they want it to be theirs and they want credit for it. So they're going to change the story in some minor way to make it theirs, and that changes over time throughout history. However, there are certain stories that never changed in history. The names changed in even the Christ character. The name changed is in that hero character. Then enough to where a person, what's his name, Joseph Campbell, who was a teacher who taught, philosophy, and he taught, what's it called? I can't think what it's called. Mythology. Taught mythology at a college in the United States for his whole career, as far as I know, until he passed. And he wrote a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces, which is completely about that, about mythology and about the hero quest that all heroes in mythology went on, including all of your ascended masters, and the fact that we all go on those exact same hero quests, whether we like it or not, whether we believe in a god or not, whether we believe in anything. you still end up going down that path, whether you like it or not. It's just something that is inherent in the genome that is the human genome, whether it's has nothing to do with God or not. There's still certain things that are as definite and predictable as the laws of physics, or that may not be a good example because some people say that the laws of physics are completely askew, or the ether bed is not predictable, so it's chaotic. However, that might not have been a great vernacular to use, but you understand the meaning, I hope, of what I'm saying. So, all right, let's continue here. So literally the knowledge and power. Like, I don't know how far we were in there. Hear ye the voice that shall banish the night. Mystery and wisdom have I brought to my children. Knowledge and power descend from old. Know ye not that all shall be opened when ye shall find the openness of all, right? And so then he went on to talk about conquering death and the blossom of life that shines in the halls of Amente, okay? So that in spirit shall ye reach that halls of Amente. Okay, so the flower of life, the secret to life is in the flower of life and the puzzle of the flower of life. People, if you look at, I don't have an image of the flower of life to show you. However, that image has been utilized not just in Eastern spiritual thought or philosophical thought, but also in Western. So it's around the entire world, and now science is pondering this, and you have people that are starting to talk about unlocking this flower of life in a way that hasn't been talked about before, and that's scaring a lot of people in science. But it also has people in science really seriously looking into a few things, because things like people like Terrence Howard coming out, whether you like him or not, whether you believe him or not, he's onto something that is going to change the face of science, whether science likes it or not. Okay. All right, let's continue.
Spirit, shall ye reach that halls of Amenti, and bring back the wisdom that liveth in light. Know ye the gateway to power is secret. Know ye the gateway to life is through death. Aye, through death, but not as ye know death, but a death that is life, and is fire, and is light. Desireth thou to know the deep, hidden secret? Look in thy heart where the knowledge is bound. Know that in thee the secret is hidden, the source of all life and the source of all death. Listen ye, O man, while I tell the secret, reveal unto thee the secret of old. Deep in earth's heart lies the flower, the source of the spirit that binds all in its form. Or know ye that earth is living in body, as thou art alive in thine own formed form. The flower of life is as thine own place of spirit, and streams through the earth as thine.
Okay, so let me stop there real quick, right? So now we're talking about the afterlife, and that's why that was mentioned, life that is not life. So we're talking about dying in the physical and realizing, and this is what Thoth is saying, realizing that you have an immortal soul, you have an immortal spirit. And so this is, know ye that the gateway of life is through death. Aye, through death, but not as ye know death, but a death that is life and is fire and is light, right? Desirest thou to know the deep hidden secret, right? Look in thine heart where the knowledge is bound. So look within you. When we're talking about this stuff, I tell people that all the time. Search yourself, look within your heart, look within your own mind, and you will find that there's something that says this could be true. Whether people want to believe there is a creator of the universe is inconsequential, right? You still know in your heart of hearts that there is something other than this. You just don't want it to be this, Greco-Roman God that they keep talking about, because come on, let's be serious. Some man in a toga with a big beard, big bushy beard, wearing a toga, sitting up on top of a mountain, on top of some throne, dictating to the world what's going on. And across from the valley on another mountaintop is another man who has got red leathery skin and has a black goatee, mustache, horns on his head, a tail, and is standing with a pitchfork. Come on, let's be serious. And they're playing chess or checkers vying for control of the humans because the humans must be the most important people in the entire universe, that those two beings, good and evil, would have to be fighting for. It was that story and those whole ideologies were metaphors, parables to the fight that is actually going on within you, the battle between your conscience being the angel on your right shoulder and your ego being the devil on your left shoulder. Both aspects of you, right and wrong, respectively, good and evil, respectively, talking about which you're going to become, which archetype are you going to follow, your ego and become self-serving, or your conscience and become in service to others. And that's when you make that decision, which everyone does, there's a lot of people who love to say, I'm neutral. Those people are lying to you, they're evil, or they wouldn't be saying they're neutral. Only evil people try to say that they're neutral and pretend, right? You can pretend on Earth in third dimension. You can hide from lesser beings, first, second, and third dimensional beings. You can hide from fourth, it becomes a little harder. Fifth, it becomes almost impossible. By the time you're in the sixth dimension, you cannot hide anymore, no matter how hard you want to try it. It's done. You're over with. You're already decided at that point, and you're living that life. But you can always repent. You can always, that's a nautical term, I hate to use it, but it's the one that everybody understands, that vernacular on this earth. You can repent your way. You can go back and become in service to others and move away from the darkness at any time that you wish. You can also move away from the light at any time you wish and go into darkness. It doesn't matter to the creator of the universe, because the creator of the universe is not vying for control of your life. Religion recruits you. Spirituality waits for you to find it. Okay? So know that, reading now from the Thoth, the Atlantean, Emerald Tablet number 13, know that in thee the secret is hidden. Okay, so in you, the secret is hidden. The source of all life and the source of all death. List ye, O man, while I tell you the secret. Reveal unto thee the secret of old. Deep in earth's heart lies the flower, the source of the spirit that binds all in its form. Again, the flower of life. Okay, flower of life is in the center of the earth, because the center of the earth is effectively the 0 point, the heart chakra, although the heart chakra is not actually in the center of the earth, but it is in the center of the earth in many respects, but it's represented on the earth for us in the physical plane to observe the heart chakra and all the other chakras. But the truth is, it's in the center of the earth, just like it is in the center of your beingness. Okay, the source of the spirit that binds all in its form. Or ye, that the earth is living in body, as thou art alive in thy own formed form. Again, the flower of life is inside of you. It is your heart chakra. It is in that place that is the 0 point for your triple toroidal field, upper three chakras being one toroidal field, one torus, and the lower three chakras being another torus, and they overlap at the heart chakra. That is the Vesica Pisces, that is the yin and the yang. In that concept of there's a little good and evil and a little evil and good, because there is love for both. The people who are in service to self love, they just love themselves. People who are in service to others love because they love others and they love themselves. So the love is the one thing that overlaps the two, masculine, feminine, good, evil, not respectively. Masculine, feminine, evil, good, respectively. And the energies Kundalini, Kunda buffer, masculine and feminine, respectively. In those energies and those archetypes that rule, the love is, and in service to others is the upper three chakras. This bottom three chakras is the first, second, and third dimensionality. Third dimensionality, self-serving dimensionality, place of doing this reality, this illusion that you think is a reality is this what you think is a physical place. Okay, that is living in the flesh and eating of the tree of life. When you start becoming more in service to others, you move up and you illuminate the upper three chakras, and you activate those in a way that people who are self-serving cannot, even though they still balance the chakras and still have access to them and gain wisdom. They don't balance them in the way that you do, just like you lose the amount of energy that you gain from the lower three chakras, and people that are in the lower three chakras. It's self-serving people having access to the knowledge in the lower three chakras that you don't have access to. Say, and vice versa, you in the upper three chakras. So, list ye old man, while I tell you the secret revealed unto thee, the secret of old, deep in the earth's heart is the flower, the source of the spirit that binds all in its forms. Okay, or ye in ye that the earth is living in body, as thou art alive in thy own form, formed form. The flower of life is in thy own place of spirit and streams through the earth as thine flows through thy form, as your heart and your energy flows through your physical form, giving the life to the earth and its children, renewing the spirit from form unto form. This is the spirit that is form of thy body, shaping and molding into its form. Okay, let's continue.
And flows through thy form, giving of life to the earth and its children, renewing the spirit from form unto form. This is the spirit that is form of thy body, shaping and molding into its form. Know ye, O man, that thy form is dual, balanced in polarity, while formed in its form.
Dual, masculine, feminine, good, evil, good, respectively. Kundalini, Kundaba for energy, dual formed, also lower, upper three chakra, lower three chakras. Let's continue.
Know that when fast on thee death approaches, it is only because thy balance is shaken. It is only because one pole.
Feeling lonely? Age is just a number. If you are over 45, join us. Find a caring
pole has been lost.
Welcome, Penny. Welcome aboard. Share this out, please. Okay, let's continue here. All right. So know that the secret of life in a mente, wait, we're not that far in there, right? Shaping and molding into its form. Know ye, old man, that thy form is dual, balanced in popularity while formed in its form. Okay? Or polarity, I'm sorry, balanced in polarity while formed in its form. Know that when the fast on thee death approaches, it is only because thy balance is shaken. Okay? So your life becomes shorter. Your life expectancy and the span of your life is lessened by if you are unbalanced. If you never learn about the chakras and you never balance your chakras, you never balance yourself and your personality and your archetypes, and you never look into that, you have a short lifespan. Okay? So this is how the fall, let me go back over here and put myself up in camera so you guys can see me here. This is the fall of man, the fall of the human race. Okay? Fall of the human race was not everybody turning evil, but it in a sense was, because if you move away from the light, if you lose the knowledge of balancing yourself, living upright, being good to each other, and you just live eating of the flesh, killing, murdering, raping, and pillaging because you feel that that's necessary to do to survive on the earth, then your life expectancy is shortened. Okay? You start living longer when you are more spiritual. The fact that everybody's living longer on this planet is not because people are eating better food. That's what they wanted you to believe. Well, we're eating better. No, they were eating better in the past than we are now, because they were eating organic food that they were growing all the time. They make you believe, they tell you, oh no, they were all starving to death. Those people were so skinny, they were starving to death. They're not skinny because they were starving to death. Okay, you look at people in a country that don't have a lot of money and they're all skinny, not because they're starving to death. They're getting plenty of food. They're skinny because they don't have steroids and crap in their food and too much sugar and too much salt and too much processed everything in their food. They are eating healthy because they're eating organic. And it's the truth. You can go to any country and find this out, or ask someone you know that lives there. I remember friends of mine going over to the Philippines and living in the Philippines. And they said, everybody over here is skinny because they don't have the money to have pesticides and crap in their food. So everything's organic. So you go to the store and you buy stuff and you cook it and you eat it, and you don't keep it for 40 days and 40 nights. Okay, you can't do that unless you have a freezer. Of course, then you can still do that even in other countries. But the point is, they're all healthy because they're not eating crap food like is what's served in the United States. Okay, so then I have people who were in the United States who left the United States and went over to like Egypt and spent like a month over there. And one of the guys was like, I've been eating like pizza every day and I've dropped 10 pounds. no genetically modified organisms, no processed extra sugar in the wheat, all kinds of stuff. All the poison that's in the food that was in America, he was no longer eating, and he lost all that inflammation, and his body was shedding weight, even though he was eating what would make him fat in the United States. Okay, so if you get to a country that doesn't have all of those fillers and all that crap, and you're still fat, that's because you're eating too much food. Okay, that's because of gluttony. But unless you have a problem with your metabolism. And skinny people always go, well, fat people always say they have a problem with their metabolism. No, that's actually true. A slower metabolism metabolizes things slower. And if you're eating a lot of fatty foods or a lot of crap food and processed food, your body won't be able to process that right, and you will gain weight. Okay? That's just the way that works. And so anybody, I don't care where you're from, you take anybody from another country and put them in America, and they're going to gain weight. Not because they have all kinds of food to eat, but because their food is crap, and it creates inflammation. There's too much sugar and there's too much salt, and your body starts bloating up trying to process that stuff out of your system. And then the other junk that's in your system is just going to make you even fatter, right? So you got to get away from that. I came over here to Australia like 90 days ago, and I've dropped like 30 pounds in 90 days, maybe more. I haven't jumped on a scale to find out, but at least 30 pounds because I'm wearing like a regular extra large. I'm not even wearing a 2X or a 3X, and I came here wearing a 2X. I think I was wearing a 3X when I got here, and now I'm just wearing an extra large shirt. This shirt right here is too big for me, and it's a 3X. When I bought it, it's too big for me, but I'm wearing it right now because it has my book name on it. Okay, I should probably replace it. And all the shirts that I wear when I'm not on camera are all just a regular extra large shirt. That's it. Okay. So soon I'll be wearing a large shirt. I hope not. I'm hoping to, because I'm working out, I'm hoping to keep muscle tone up enough to where I stay in an extra large shirt, right? Get muscle tone up. But the point is, the food in this country isn't full of poison like the United States. And all my inflammation ceased. And all of a sudden I started feeling better, and I'm just eating whatever I want while I'm over here. I'm not watching my food at all. I'm eating whatever I want, and I'm still losing weight. Why is that? Because the food doesn't have all the shit in it that's in the United States. So what you eat is going to determine that. So if you're eating crap food, if you're eating of the tree of life, it is going to shorten your life expectancy. They also know around the world that if you eat too much sugar and have too much sugar in your diet over time, that will cause you to have problems, and you'll also be more likely by 30 or 40 times to get cancer by eating a high sugar diet. Okay, they know that around the world. Ask people, ask the doctors, ask people. Okay, don't ask Google, because now all the AI is in charge of all the search engines. And I'm going to be talking about that when I go live on TikTok, and then either today or tomorrow when I go live on TikTok, I'm going to talk about that. So you guys should follow me on TikTok, because I had a conversation for 2 hours with an AI bot yesterday. And I took screenshots of it, and I'm going to read some. I don't know if I'll read all of it to you, but I might, because they have like examples, pros and cons for everything. And you're going to trip on some of the information that the AI bot just said. As a matter of fact, this is what's going on. Like when I said, to what percentage are AI bots lying to humans? And they said not to what percent is AI lying to humans, how often? Because AI is 100% lying to humans. It's a matter of how often and how many times an AI is lying to humans. Okay? So that's a little tidbit of the show I'm going to do on TikTok in the next couple of days. You guys might want to find me on TikTok. Look up my name. I'm not under Orion Rising there. It's just under my name. Look up my name. And if you're listening on the MP3 broadcast, you guys I'll end up converting it and putting it on there anyway. So you guys will get it. But on the MP4, I'm going to record it, and I'll see if I can put it up. So I'll probably upload it to YouTube and then link it, or I can upload it on Facebook as well. But you guys won't be able to ask questions in the live show unless you're on TikTok. So you guys might want to look me up on TikTok and subscribe to me and hit that little bell or whatever it is that lets you know when I go live, so that you guys can then, because I don't have a set schedule for TikTok, but I will be going live there and talking and reading about that and talking about that. So we'll see if TikTok kicks me off for telling the truth that an AI bot told me. We'll find out what happens there. Okay, so let's get back over here. Let me pull myself out of full screen and go into full screen over here. So we're talking about your life expectancy being less. Okay, so know that if you are in any way staying away from the light, if you go away from the light and you eat crap food and you live that way, self-serving, your life expectancy diminishes. Okay? Your life expectancy, let me say that again, diminishes, and you do not live as long. People are living longer, and when they lived longer in the past, they were more spiritual. People are living longer as they become more spiritual in life. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe me or not, I don't care. I hope you don't believe me. I hope you go and look up this stuff for yourself and go down those rabbit holes, because I can't make anyone believe anything. The only thing I can do is get you to start thinking for yourself. So question everything. Question me, question everyone, question the AI bots. Don't believe when you're looking something up on Google or any other search engine that you're getting accurate information, because they have a thing that's called the hallucination. That's how the AI bot describes how they're accidentally lying to you. Okay, so know ye, old man, as I read, that thy form is dual, balanced in polarity, while formed in its form. Know that when fast thee death approaches, it is because thy balance is shaken. It is only because one pole has been lost. Okay, so you have to balance your life. Know that the secret to life in Amente, or in heaven, or in Elysium, or whatever you call that, halls of Amente, the Akashic records, the kingdom of heaven, whatever you call that place, the mansion, whatever it is the secret of restoring the balance of poles. All that exists has form and is living because of the spirit of life and its poles. Let's continue.
Know that the secret of life in Amenti is the secret of restoring the balance of poles. All that exists from form and is living because of the spirit of life in its poles. See ye not that in earth's heart is the balance of all things that exist and have being on its face? The source of thy spirit is drawn from the earth's heart, for in thy form thou art one with the earth. When thou hast learned to hold thine own balance, then shalt thou draw on the balance of earth. Exist then shalt thou while earth is existing, changing in form. Only when earth too shalt change, tasting not of death, but one with this.
Changing in form only when earth too shall change. Do you remember that in the Bible, look at what Jesus said in the Bible when he was talking? He was in Matthew. It was like Matthew 3:13 through 20 or something, when he said that God said, what you shall sow on earth, I shall too sow in heaven. What you reap on earth, I shall too reap in heaven. Okay? So holding thy form till thy pass away, right? So know that the earth is existing. Let's back up a little bit, okay? So when thou hast learned to hold thine own balance, then shalt thou draw on the balance of earth. So when you can balance yourself, then you can draw on the energies that are from the balance of earth. Exist, then shalt thou, while earth is existing. So you will exist as the earth. You and the land are one. Here's a message from King Arthur and the Arthurian legend. In the secret of the Grail, it was you and the land are one. As you flourish, so too shall the land flourish. Okay? As you fail, so too shall the land fail. As within, so without. As below, so above. When thou hast learned to hold thine own balance, reading from the Emerald Tablets again, then shalt thou draw on the balance of earth. Exist then shalt thou while earth is existing. You will exist while the earth is existing, changing in form only when earth too shalt change. Okay, so as the earth changes, so does the human existence. Okay, so now how could they have come up with this information? Let me stop here and we'll talk about this, because I want to talk about it in another place. Okay, so that information is written there, and I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to read it, right? So, exist then shalt thou while earth is existing, changing in form only when earth too shalt change, tasting not of death, but one with this planet, holding thy form till all pass away. Okay, so literally saying that when the earth changes its existence, that is going to manifest in with the humans, not because of the earth, but giving you the opportunity. Okay. Now let's move forward. That was 1929. If they founded it in 1929, if it was invented in 1929, it was in 1929. Let's say that someone invented it in 1929. This information come forward in time. This information wasn't readily available. Not everybody had this information to be able to read, okay, until in the 2000s. Then it became, for people it became on the market because of the internet. Before that, it wasn't readily available. So then you have Carla in 1981 to 1984 channeling Ra, and in there, Ra says that the planet has changed and shifted, and that it is not supposed to be sustaining third-dimensional life forms anymore. It is supposed to be servicing and sustaining fourth-dimensional life forms. Third-dimensional life forms were supposed to go away, but evil people got wind of this matrix and how it works, and they've been holding everybody in place and not allowing them to upgrade their existence into the fourth dimension, holding them as slaves in this place without their knowledge by taking away the knowledge from in front of their face. Sound familiar? So then wanderers hear the call from the immortal souls who are stuck, and they come down, legally go into a body. Does that sound familiar? Jesus, 2,000 years ago, said, I am here legally. Not meaning I am here from Galilee legally, or I'm here from Nazareth legally. That's not what they were talking about at that time. When they said, are you the Son of God? When Pilate was talking to him, he said, I am here legally. Okay? He is here legally, which means he was born in a human body and is supposed to be here, not an alien coming in a spaceship. Okay? Born legally here on Earth. So in human form, legally bound to be able to be here. So now we have wanderers saying the same thing, or people talking about wanderers. Well, they could have read the Bible. Okay, but they couldn't have read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. And Emerald Tablets couldn't have read the information that is existing in the raw material that Carla channeled. Okay, so here we have an extra, the being that is supposed to be from the fifth dimension that is communicating with her in the third dimension using ESP, using channeling. And it's telling her this information, and they wrote it down, ended up putting it in books. Okay, that there is information that was given to people that this earth had moved into a phase that humans, were supposed to have upgraded and moved into that phase, or moved to a different planet, the third dimension. It was no longer supposed to be sustainable, but because we were stuck, we were holding third dimension. Okay, and then you hear people talking about from all over the world who never read the Law of One, who never read the Emerald Tablets, and yet they're saying the same information. Okay, so how is that possible? Oh, well, because the books are out there, they probably read it somewhere. I was talking about things that were in the Law of One before I read the Law of One, and people said to me, you're talking like you're in the Law of One. I said, what is the Law of One? I was talking about things that were in Lao Tzu's The Way. In fact, I was writing a book that I wrote that has the title right here, that I was going to call it The Way, until I found out that Lao Tzu already wrote a book that's called The Way, the Tao Te Ching, the Book of the Way. Okay, and Jesus, Jesus Caramba, Jesus of Nazareth, he was calling his followers in his teaching the way. Okay, and then that was 650 years after Lao Tzu. And he was calling it the way. Did he read that and just use that? It is possible, because that information was around. However, that book called the Tao Te Ching, had not been formed until the 20th century. And they took all of Lao Tzu's things and put it together in the 19th century. They put it all together, and they called it the Book of the Way. And it was all of the stuff that Lao Tzu had said that someone else put together. He did not write that book. Okay, so that information was not, in fact, around at the time that of Jesus. So people tend to say, well, that stuff was around. If you're a theologian, you know this. Okay, you know that information wasn't actually available in that form called the Way until the 19th century. Okay, so Jesus was teaching the Way in the first century. Okay, Lao Tzu was actually talking about it in negative first century BC. or a BCE if you're non-Christian. Okay, so what is that? What does all that mean? Well, what it means is there is a knowledge that is on this earth that would appear that ascended masters are gaining separate from each other, with a possible overlapping of one or two of these knowledges, but not in the form that it exists in today, using the same vernacular that they were using at the time. Okay, so how is it that these people are talking about the exact same information if they didn't have access to each other? And if they did have access to each other, why did they never give credit to each other? Were they arrogant, egotistical, trying to get rich off of this information? None of these people made any money off of it. Most of them were killed for what they said, or they died with no money because they weren't trying to get rich off of it. So what would be the purpose for them to what? I'm going to leave it behind so that everybody just learns from me and I'll get credit for it as the one who created it. If so, they would have made sure that they sold that, don't you think? Unless they weren't, in fact, in service to self, which means they were in service to others and they were leaving an information behind that would help the human existence and the human condition. That's why they didn't get rich, but it's the same information that everybody else was picking up and passing on, who also, weirdly, were not trying to get rich off of it. They weren't self-serving. They were in service to others. So why is it that the one story about how to learn a certain way of existence that will help you to graduate from a place that, whether you believe it or not, is a school, and the people who are telling you about it are not the people who sold the most books about it on the face of the earth? They're people that were telling you about the way, and that information is still here, but they're not sitting around charging $45,000 million to do so. Penny said, because it should have been common knowledge, but it's not. It was common knowledge. Let me put that up on the screen, Penny. It was common knowledge at a certain time on this planet's existence, in this planet's history. It was common knowledge, and everybody was teaching it. And when that was happening, the world was expanding in consciousness and expanding in a way that was far better than it is now, and people were living for 1,000 years. And then something happened that created the fall of the human condition. What was that? That was something that was done by evil people, and they gained the knowledge of how this place works and took the knowledge of the way to ascend wherever you think that goes, whether you think it's heaven or Elysium or nowhere except for up in evolution, doesn't matter. That way was taken away from the human condition. And when that happened and everybody was convinced to eat of the tree of life and live that way, guess what happened? The life expectancy went from 1,000 years down to 30. And that's how long people lived on average, 30 to 35 years of age on average until the 1700s. Some people lived longer, absolutely. Some people lived into their 50s, 60s, 70s. Some even lived into their 80s. That started, the people who were very spiritual lived for a very long time. The people who were very non-spiritual did not. That is a choice that each individual makes. People who live a long life are usually in service to others. Very rarely do you see an evil person sitting around going, I was evil, I'm still evil, I'm 110, fuck the world. Ha, I got mine, you get yours. You don't hear that. The people that are, happy birthday, you're 103, what's your secret? I sat around and was nice to people, drank some whiskey and smoked some cigarettes, but I believe in Jesus Christ as my savior. Not always do they say that, but you know my point. They're always talking like they're in some way spiritual and not evil, and they're happy to be alive, and that's why they're still alive. People who are cantankerous and evil, they don't usually live. Some of them do. Some of them live for a while. Not everybody's going to die early. Some of them take care of themselves even though they're self-serving. Okay? But most of the time, they don't live their whole lives, right? So you have to realize that. Most of those has always felt like, let me put that up on the screen. Most of those that always felt like common knowledge to me, well, it was. I mean, some of us, we look at it, but it's only common when everybody has it, right? Right? You're trying to type and you're on your phone, right? I do the same thing when I'm on my phone and I'm going, and I look at it after I go, God, how did I not see that? A freaking typo, freaking thumbs, phone, anyway, or you're talking to it and it doesn't pick up your accent. Peter does that. Peter Coyle from Ireland, he talks to his phone in his Irish accent. is very unique. It's very northern sounding, and in Eastern but northern. And his phone just doesn't pick it up right. When I laugh, I have to translate for him all the time. And if you hear him talk, Penny, you've heard him talk, so you know what I'm talking about. He's got a really thick accent. I was sitting there last night. He was talking, and Brooke was sitting right next to me, and I was answering him, and she was looking at me like, you understood what he just said. She said a few things that Ray, because Ray was on the call, and Brooke and I and Peter were all just talking together, and Ray didn't understand what Peter said. Brooke didn't understand what Peter said, but I did, because I've known Peter forever. I'm used to hearing his voice and his accent, and he sounds like my grandparents, right, who are gone, more's the pity. But I understood what he was saying, and I just answered him. And I said, Brooke just looked at me like, what? I didn't even know what he said, and I just looked at her and smiled. And then at one time he said something, and I had to answer. I had to repeat what he said, because she looked at me and she went, what did he just say? And I repeated it, and she was like, you understand everything he's saying, don't you? I'm like, yes. She started laughing, right? Yeah, right. I have to love Peter and his accent. Yeah, I love Peter. So, and then when he's laughing and talking fast, his accent gets thicker. And if you don't know him, you know as well as I do, Penny. If you don't know him, you go, what the hell did he just say? And and he laughs. He likes Brooke's accent, her Australian accent. So he's listening to her, loves hearing her talk, and she loves hearing him talk because she loves his accent. And I have to translate what she says to him sometimes and what he says to her sometimes. Isn't that funny? I also have to translate like what Brooke says to Ray, but not always. Ray's getting used to it. Anyway, okay. So let me continue here. But that's a true story, right? So your focus determines your reality. This planet has already, let's get back on point. This planet has already moved out of the phase of sustaining third dimensional life forms. We're supposed to already have been moved into fourth dimension. Okay. So this is one of the reasons why we decided, instead of having a cataclysm, because that's normally what happens, you have a cataclysm, it kills off an entire species, and then, or most of it, and then the people who are ready to move on, they just move on, and the people who aren't just recycle and come back in. And there's a lot less of them because, a lot of people, it's a culling. A lot of people are willing to go and can. So you have a societal structure that collapses, like the one that we know collapsed 77,000 years ago, and quite possibly another one that collapsed 12,000 years ago. We also know of another one that collapsed about 120,000 years ago in another cycle, because we have the pre-dynastic era of Egypt, not the post-dynastic. And the post-dynastic era started thousands of years ago. So we know that there was another societal structure that was prior to the kings of Egypt that they're aware of. So there was some calamity that had happened, and we believe that was the meteor that came and went too close to the planet and almost destroyed the planet, and flipped it over on its axis and all of that stuff, right? And some people say that had to do with Atlantis, and I've talked about that as well, and the Atlanteans doing that. Other people say that those things are both true, because the meteor that came here was hurled here by another race of beings, because there was in fact a war going on, an intergalactic war at the time, or a civil war going on at the time. I think all of those things are true, honestly. So I believe that all of those things are true, that the Atlanteans had a civil war that was going on, and that was an interplanetary war in this solar system. Was Moldectus got blown up, Mars got screwed up, and then Earth became the only habitable planet, and everybody ended up down here. Okay, so I believe that that's true to form. Okay, so your focus determines your reality. This planet is supposed to be sustaining four-dimensional life, so we've made a decision that we're going to upgrade everybody to 4D. Instead of killing everybody off, we're just shifting the timelines, and everybody's moving into 4D. Here's some secret information, right? So we're changing the timelines here, and everybody is shifting into 4D without their knowledge, because they're supposed to already be in 4D. So we're upgrading everyone and shifting everyone into 4D, and that's changing the timeline. It's also changing your reality. People are going to move into 4D. They're not even going to realize that they used to be in 3D. Everything's just going to be the way it is. Some people have that memory and some people won't. And the people who have that memory, the people who don't, will call it the Mandela effect and say that they're just tripping and they just think that they know something was going on. And that's okay, because those people will move into where they're supposed to be, and the ones that are 3D will go to a different 3D planet when their physical body dies here. And those that are 4D will be born 4D on this planet. It's still called Earth. It's still called Terra. The human form is slightly different. So as we start changing the timelines, our human form's going to change. It's already starting to do that slightly. People are not noticing it that are not supposed to. People that are supposed to are going, that's weird. That's something's changed. There's already a lot of people realizing that the language has changed. The way people speak is changing. The way people spell things is changing. That's happening, but there's still echoes of it because it's baby steps. You can't just change everything overnight because people freak out. So we change things slowly over time, changing time, and that upgrades. Whether you want to believe that or not, I don't care, because that's what's happening. Whether you are in on it or whether you're not, you're either privy to it or you think that something weird's happening, and you notice timeline shifts, or you think that we're all crazy. I don't care, because either way, it's happening. Okay. I'm not here to make you believe that. I'm not here to point that out to you. I'm not even here to prove it to you. When people say prove it, I'll say go down that road, look it up for yourself, figure it out, ask questions. Because eventually you'll unlock that knowledge and you'll know what's happening. You won't think it. You won't try to go and point at it. You'll actually know it. Not because you've become crazy, but because you actually unlock that knowledge. Okay, so if you live in the flesh and you're evil and you eat of the tree of life and you live that way, then you're eating bad food, debauchery, drinking, drugs, all that stuff's going on, and your life expectancy is going to be less. Science has proved that. If you eat like shit, you drink too much alcohol, you do all kinds of drugs, you burn your life up. Science without God, science without this knowledge that I'm giving you will tell you if you live your life like shit, it's going to be short because you're going to burn the candle at both ends and you're going to die. If you live your life conservatively and you take care of yourself, you're going to live longer. Okay? So, yes, Penny. Yes, so many changes lately. And in the past 2 years, a lot. It started at least. No, it's been going on for longer than that, but that has been smaller. So to your defense, they were little teeny things. You were aware of those, like the Tinkerbell thing and the Mandela effect itself and small things. But as the last couple of years, they're getting bigger, right? They're getting bigger. So things are changing that are people are starting to notice that are larger things that are like, what, that was big, right? Then people tracking the Schumann resonance, they're starting to see big shifts that they're coinciding, and they're realizing when they see this big shift happening in the energy, there's usually a timeline shift that coincides with it, that people go, that was weird. This is this way now, and it wasn't this way yesterday. So they're starting to look at that, right? So what is the Mandela effect? What is the Mandela effect to you? The Mandela effect they started talking about it because Nelson Mandela. Some people, I don't know if you know who Nelson Mandela was, and what took place back when Nelson Mandela was not, before he was the president of South Africa. Some people that were alive back then have a memory of Nelson Mandela dying, and when he was in prison, he never became the president of South Africa. And then Nelson Mandela didn't die, and he became the president of South Africa. A lot of people said that he was cloned and things like that. And so when that happened, societal structure, people said, there's a lot of people around the world that believe that Nelson Mandela died and he's not dead and he became the president of South Africa. So they coined the term the Mandela effect, saying those people just remembered that memory wrong. They just remembered that memory wrong. Okay. So for some reason, the human condition just remembers some things wrong. That is an actual fact. But the thing that they can't prove to you is that some people from around the world that are not exposed to the same things at all, culturally, food-wise, area-wise, education-wise, and everything, they're completely separate from one another all around the world, and they have nothing in common other than they're humans, not even the same race, not even the same sex, not even the same age group. So they haven't had the same inoculations. They haven't been exposed to anything the same other than the background radiation of the earth itself in different places around the earth have that same memory. And there's millions of people who have memories like that. So that's the Mandela effect. That's what they call that. So anytime something like that happens, like, for instance, watching the Disneyland Disney cartoon that used to come on when I was in America. It was on Sundays or Saturday nights. And when it would start, Tinkerbell, the cartoon character, would fly across the screen and come right up to the camera, and she would go poof into the camera, and all the little stars from fairy dust she would hit you like on the nose or in the forehead or on the, and it would go poof, and then she would fly back away from you and go around and go over the top of the Disney castle and leave a trail of stardust. And then it would say, Walt Disney Presents, and then they would start their little show for the week. Disney says that never happened. You can't find it anywhere in history, but there are literally millions of people around the earth that remember her coming up to the camera and going poof, chinga, 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 and then going around there. And Disney says that never happened. People look for it, and it's not in this timeline. Not there. Cannot find it because the timeline has shifted and it's no longer part of this reality. But people still remember it. So they just say that all of those people are just remembering that one event wrongly. If everybody had an issue where they were remembering it wrong, their memory would be unique to each other. They wouldn't all remember the same exact memory wrong. They would remember it slightly different, depending on the people, or not at all, or they would remember it completely different. Everyone has the exact same memory that no longer exists, but they have it in their heads. Okay, that's the Mandela effect. Right? Reese said, yes, Stardust, 100%. Pow, right? Stardust. Absolutely, right, Reese? So certain people have those memories of a dual memory of that event happening and a memory of that event without that happening. And then the one of those is the new timeline. So that is being done on purpose. And the people who have those Mandela effect memories are actually awake enough to have those. They're supposed to have those memories. And then the other people who are completely living in the flesh, that are non-spiritual whatsoever, they don't have any memory of that because they're not supposed to. They're living very 3D. They're not supposed to have that memory. They're probably indigenous to this place, and they're on their first 4 or 5 lifetimes, somewhere between 1 and 5 of their lives. The other people who have that memory are closer to being awake, if not awake, and they are also wanderers. They're people who actually came here to help, whether they're aware of it or not. Okay, I tell you that's exactly what's supposed to be happening. So there are these. So when there's a timeline shift, because they are in fact really happening, people have a memory, but you don't know what has changed until you see it. So that's the problem with that, is that if this yesterday was purple instead of white, I wouldn't know that it was purple yesterday until I picked it up and it's white, and I go, wait, this was purple. And I'm thinking, all right, maybe I remembered that wrong. And then somebody else that I know usually remembers those, and I'll go, wasn't this purple? And they'll go, yeah, that was different. And it's not because I'm convincing them. Sometimes I'll think this was purple yesterday and not white. I'm not saying that I have. I'm just saying, and then I won't say anything. And then someone else will go, weren't these purple? And I'll go, yeah, I thought they were, right? Well, did you see them as purple? When did that change? Then we find out that it changed the same day. Then we look at other people around the world and go, did you guys out there notice a shift? And then people go, yeah, weird things. And then they start telling you what they noticed. And then you look into it and see. And what happens is people from around the world see things differently, and physiological changes happen. 2 years ago now, I think, or a year ago, it was either a year or 2 years ago in May, there was a shift that changed, like the position of your heart in your body and the position of your kidneys in your body. Okay. And people were like tripping on that, because if you were in the old timeline and you have memory of it, your heart is not in the center of your body. It's slightly over here behind this left lung. Okay. Except for in this reality right now, they tell you your heart is almost dead center in your chest. But it was over here. You used to put your hand on your heart like this in the United States to pledge allegiance to the flag. Not over here, but over here. Okay. Now that's starting to shift a little bit, because some of us have been talking about it enough. Also, your kidneys. I was in martial arts my whole life. Okay. Your kidneys were just above your butt at the lower back. That's where your kidneys were, and you would punch someone there. Okay. In that shift, your kidneys were up just below your lungs, right at the base of your rib cage in your back. So now they've moved up about this far on the average person's back. That's about 3 inches. The kidneys were way up here and not down there anymore. Okay. And that was a shift that happened 2 years ago. And some people around the world, March? It was March of 22, not May. March. Thank you, Penny. Right. And it was 3 years ago, right? I thought it was 3 years ago now. So 3 years ago, thank you, Penny, for that. So, yeah. And yeah, Penny says, I'm a wanderer, one wanderer. Yeah. Like the song, I wonder, wonder, right? Why? I'm a wanderer. I love that, Penny. That was cute that you did that. So, yes, Penny, you are. So when you have those memories, like black chicken happened in May of this year, right? There were chickens that were black, and they had black feathers, and they had black skin. But there was not chicken who had black meat until May of this year. Okay. And at the same time, sweet potatoes and yams changed. And now yams are hairy and white. When they were orange before, they're hairy like a coconut. The coconut skin is hairy on the outside. Now yams are hairy like that. And sweet potatoes are now orange. When they were not orange, they were more of a yellow color. Now they're orange. I'm okay because I still like them. But now yams, which used to be identical, are now like 3 different shades: purple, white, and in a yellow color. And the outside skin is either brown or white, and it's hairy. And it wasn't that way. And that was in May of this year. And there was a few other shifts that changed, that the timeline shifted. The timeline changed. And we started recognizing those things. So that's the Mandela effect, and that happens. That's being done on purpose, because when people came here, the Anunnaki, that's what people call it here, when they came here, they changed things in history. And because of making everybody fall, which Thoth is talking about here, making everybody fall, their life expectancy got shorter for thousands of years, like 10,000 years. That also shifted the timeline, and the timeline, you're crooked, you're not upright anymore. The planet's crooked, it's not upright. So as we're fixing that to move everybody into 4D, the literally your memory is changing, because the timeline is shifting back to, we're not creating a new timeline, we're shifting it back to the way it's supposed to be. And there's a lot of people out there who believe it's CERN, it's the bad guys, and they're evil, and they are scared to death and don't know what's happening. They're like, maybe it's something we did. So they're investigating it, trying to figure it out. But it's not something that they did, even though they might want to take credit for it, because they want you to believe that they're the most strongest people in the force of the universe and in control, and they can take away your freedom whenever they want. And you better follow them or else. And so they're going to want to. So they're going to want to let you believe, and they're going to put that out there that it's them that are doing it, because they want everybody to believe and be afraid of them. But that's not what's happening. Okay. And I tell you that they can't stop it. They don't even have memory of it until they investigate it. And some of them are trying to have memory, and they've got a contact with some people that are evil, that are enough to where they can sense them. And they're really seriously trying to stop us from doing it, but they can't do anything about it. So that's the way it is. We're fixing this planet and upgrading it and moving people into 4D, and they're losing their power because they've already lost this war. They're just holding on as long as they can, right? So they're going to do that. They're going to try and make things as evil as possible, as often as possible. And if they can, they're going to get a third world war started so that they can kill everybody off, as many people as they can, and put them all back to sleep. They need that to happen. They're desperate to hold on to their control. They have to have civil unrest. They have to have a war. They need a reason to be able to kill off at least 25% of this population. And if they had their way, they would kill off 75% of the population. That's why in prophecy, there's 2 realities. One, and I'm going to talk about this on TikTok because AI told about it. One, there's a reality where the human species is cyborging themselves with implants. That one diminishes the population from the 8 billion people that we are now down to less than 100 million, less than 1 million at one point. Okay. That's one reality where AI gets control. Okay. Then there's the other reality where people say no to AI and they diminish AI and still use it, but they don't start letting it freaking control everything, control their lives, and upgrade all of their stuff and start implanting AI all inside of them and become cyborgs. That population is the utopian population that has 12 billion people on the planet, 4-dimensional. 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional. Okay, so the 4-dimensional is going to happen anyways, and the 3-dimensional is going to move away because this planet no longer sustains that life, and there won't be enough of them to do that. So that's even waning and disappearing, even as their outcome of reality, because they're trying to do what they can to start a third world war to kill everybody off. They've been planning that and trying to do it forever, for decades. They need to lower the population and keep people under control in a fear state and in that low vibrational state. Okay, so let me go back over here and stop talking about that. But if I was on TikTok, I'd probably already be kicked off the air by giving you guys that information, right? But it is true. If you guys have questions, please ask them in the chat, and I will answer them. So if you want to go down that road even more, ask the questions, and I'll give you that information. Otherwise, let me go over here and we'll go back and talk about the Emerald Tablets a little bit more. But that's what Ra is talking about here. That is the if you are in service to others, and you are balancing the energies that make up the archetypes that make up your personality, which are chakra points. And this was the Thoth, the Atlantean, and some people say he was Egyptian, right? Everybody wants to take credit for him because they want to say that he was Hermes, and the Egyptians were saying that Hermes was Egyptian, but everybody was saying prior to that he was Greek, and then all of a sudden he became Egyptian. So the Egyptians want to take credit because they want to take credit for Thoth, the Atlantean, who said Thoth the Atlantean, not Thoth the Egyptian, not Thoth from the land of Chem, but Thoth from Atlantis talking to the land of Chem. Okay, so because he was talking to the land of Chem, they say Chem was Egypt. Chem was no different than Israel. Israel was not Israeli people. Okay, that was not what Israel means. Israel means all humans on earth that will listen. The land of Chem is not Egypt. Okay, the land of Chem was not Egypt, but back in history it was Egypt. It only became Egypt when they found the Emerald Tablets, and then they said, yeah, that was us. Okay, the land of Chem is the land of humans. That is this earth. Okay, so the Atlanteans called all people on earth that this place was the land of Chem. Okay, like we say Terra as the name of this planet, although you guys think it means Earth, but it does mean Earth, but you think the name of this planet is Earth, or that you're an Earthling. You're not, you're a Terran. The name of this planet is Terra. Okay, but it does mean Earth. Terra firma means hard Earth when they say terra firma, solid Earth, right? So Terra means planet, actually. It means ground. it means Earth, dirt. So it's weird that we would name the planet Terra, but weirder that we would call it Earth, because that's just an English translation of the word Terra. So I'm not an Earthling, but you can't say you're an Earthen, right? I'm an Earthen, I'm a Terran. If you say you're from Earth, that's why I loved it. There was a book in the 1980s called The Last Starfighter, and a human said to Grigg, who was a reptilian, he said, "Where are you from?" And he said, "Earth." He said, "Earth what?" Because Earth meant planet, right? So I thought that was kind of cool that they did that. Earth meant planet. Okay, so let me go back over here. Let's go pull this back up. And like I said, if you guys have questions, please ask them in the chat. Otherwise, we're going to go back to the Emerald Tablets, and let's get back on point here. Wait, did I put this over here into full screen? Yes, I did. So you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Okay, so all that exists has form and is living, right? So know that the secret of life in a mente is the secret of restoring the balance of poles. All that exists has form and is living because the spirit of life is its poles, in its poles. Okay? See ye not that the earth's heart is the balance of all things that exist and have been in its face, right? Let me read that again. See ye not that in earth's heart, see ye not that in earth's heart is the balance of all things that exist and have been on its face? So that's a question saying, do you not realize that everything is in the earth's heart is in balance, is all things and exists in all things and have been on its face? The source of thy spirit is drawn from earth's heart, for in thy form thou art one with the earth. When thou hast learned to hold thine own balance, Then shalt thou draw on the balance of earth.
Planet, holding thy form till all pass away.
Oh, I didn't go far enough. Okay, then shalt thou draw on the balance of earth. Exist then shalt thou while earth is existing, changing in form only when the earth too shall change. Right? Tasting not the death, but one with the planet, holding thy form till all pass away. List ye old man, right? Wist I give the secret so that you too shall taste not of change. 1 hour each day shalt you lie with thine head pointed to the place of the positive pole, north. Okay, and then 1 hour a day you should be facing south. Let's go.
Listen ye, O man, whilst I give the secret, so that ye too shall taste not of change. 1 hour each day shalt thou lie with thine head pointed to the place of the positive pole, north. 1 hour each day shalt thy head be pointed to the place of the negative pole, south. Whilst thy head is placed to the northward, hold thy consciousness from the chest to the head, and when thy head is placed southward, hold thy thought from chest to the feet. Hold thou in balance once in each 7, and thy balance will retain the whole of its strength. Aye, if thou be old, thy body will freshen, and thy strength will become as a youth's. This is the secret known to the masters, of which they hold off the fingers of death.
Okay, so literally, each day, if you literally balance yourself that way, okay? So literally you want to, for 1 hour of the day, face north or have your head facing north. Even if you can't lay down and sit there for the whole time, turn and face that way and kind of put your feet up if you can, okay? So if you're watching television, turn and face north. Right? If you're sitting around doing nothing, maybe eating dinner or whatever, face north. Try and sit there for an hour facing north and think about those two poles, right? And then face south. So whilst thy head is placed toward northward, hold thou thy consciousness from the chest to the head, upper 3 chakras, from the heart chakra to the crown chakra, and meditate on that. You can do that. You can learn to meditate while you're talking. You can meditate while you're watching television and still pay attention to what's going on. Put yourself in a meditative state and hold that thought in your mind. No matter what you're doing, you can do more than one thing at one time. Okay. So then, right. And then when the head is placed southward, hold your thoughts from the chest to the feet, from the heart chakra to the feet. Okay. Hold thy balance once in each 7. Hold thou in balance once in each 7. So hold your balance and balance your chakras, every single one of your 7 chakras, and thy balance will retain the whole of its strength. Okay, so balance yourself, balance your chakras, upper 3 chakras, then lower 3 chakras, and then balance your entire body once a day. Cleanse yourself, center yourself, balance yourself. And thy balance will retain with the whole of its strength. Your body will retain, the balance will retain the whole of its strength. Aye, if thou be old, thy body feel refreshed, right? Freshened, and thy strength will become as a youth's. So you will literally feel better for doing it. You will feel better. This is the same as Reiki energy. This is the same as a Reiki healing when somebody's giving you Reiki, when they're giving you a Reiki treatment and healing you with Reiki. The same thing happens. It realigns your chakras and you balance and you feel better about yourself, right? So I'm going to take this opportunity because it's time to pay the bills because I haven't done that yet. So we're an hour and 20 minutes in and I haven't done a commercial. So I'm going to do a commercial for my book because we have to pay the bills.
What is the reality about reality? Returning to the old ways. It is a comprehensive book about what is really going on here on this planet. It talks about the true spirituality that the controllers who think they own this planet have been keeping from you for thousands of years. It explains to you the knowledge that you gain from the universe itself when you live the way the prophets of the world throughout time told us how to live. Eat right, meditate, take care of yourself, treat others right. All the things they originally told us to do, but the controllers have removed from right in front of our eyes. The way to ascend to heaven. The reality about reality. Returning to the old ways. On sale worldwide online now.
Okay, so this information has been out there since the dawn of time. If this was really written before 1929, if this was written, it was written thousands of years ago by Thoth the Atlantean. And this same information is in every single religion and spiritual practice around the earth, from every single time period, from every single people, from every single culture, from every single religion. I tell you this because I am a theologian. I tell you this because I have 4 religious titles in 4 different religions. I tell you this because I have learned this. And I tell you this not because I am the only one who knows this. I tell you this because there are millions, if not billions, of people on this earth who have unlocked the exact same knowledge that 1,000 years ago only 1 or 2 people knew. That 10,000 years ago only 1 or 2 people knew. That 2,000 years ago only 1 or 2 people knew. That 150 years ago only 1 or 2 people knew. But it was getting a lot more, and it happened very quickly, and people now are unlocking this knowledge. Why is that? Because this is the time in the future that people are supposed to unlock the knowledge. That is why I wrote that book explaining that knowledge, but I'm not the only one talking about it. That's why I'm translating scrolls and scriptures and things from around the world so that you can see that. It is also why I am channeling, and I am letting people know that I am channeling, where before I was hiding that. Now I am no longer hiding that information, because it is time for me to let you know these things, because it is time for everyone around the world to do the same. Okay, so balance yourself. It says you here, and thy balance will retain the whole of its strength. So you do this once a day, and you will feel the difference in your own body. So don't believe me. I think I'm crazy. Tell yourself that I have no idea what I'm talking about, and it's completely made up. Try this for yourself, and you tell me what happens. Okay, and I tell people that same thing about the Christ oil that is within your body, that moves down your spine and back up your spine once a month. And I say to people, don't believe me, go out there and learn the information and see it for yourself. Because I'm not the only one who's telling you this, because I didn't make this information up. I didn't make up this information about balancing your chakras. I didn't make up the information about the Christ oil. That information, like Penny just said, was common knowledge on this planet for thousands of years, until that knowledge was taken away from you, me, and everyone else, but not completely. That's why. And why is that? Because you can unlock that knowledge. It's not a knowledge that you have to find a book. It's not a knowledge that you have to find in somebody's scrolls. It is not that kind of knowledge. It is a knowledge that you can and will unlock in your lifetime. Maybe not this lifetime, but in a lifetime. If you do it right, you'll have it in this lifetime, and you'll actually know this information yourself. You will know that it is real, and you will do that, right? Penny says, I slept north each night. I will lay for an hour before sleep south. Yeah, I also face, in fact, I face south now. I think I'll have to look at the compass. I believe that we face south in our bed, and we actually do that. We face north at some point, and we face south at some point. I think our television is set up facing south, so we sit down for like an hour and do that, and then we actually turn around and make sure that we're facing a different direction for a while, and don't watch the television. And we actually do that. You have to do that as often as you can. So if you can do that and your bed's already facing north, then just set a chair in your house somewhere that's facing the opposite direction, and put your feet up and read a book, or look at your phone. No one's going to bug you. They're not going to go, what are you doing? I'm looking at my phone. If they're not going to go, you're facing a weird direction while you're doing it, right? Unless you're like facing the opposite from the television, then you can just say, I don't want to watch the TV. That's why I'm doing it. You see my point? So that's how you can get away from that, and having people like, tripping on when you say something like that, or you're doing something. What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm just hanging out here. What are you doing? You know what I mean? You don't have to tell them what you're doing, or you can if you're not afraid of that. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so the balance will rejuvenate your body, and the strength will become as your youth. This is a secret known as the masters, known to the masters, by which they hold off the fingers of death. So the ascended masters, we Reiki practitioners, especially master teachers, we're aware of this information on the Christ oil. Okay, and we do these things. In fact, I'm making ormus for the same reason. I just made 2 batches. Yesterday I made a batch, and today I made 2 batches because it takes me 3 days minimum to make 1 batch of ormus because of the way I make it, which is a 3,500-year-old recipe, a way of making it. In fact, it might even be more than that. It depends on, because it came from the time of Cleopatra, because it used to be called Cleopatra's milk, because she used it and bathed in it and drank it. Okay, so people who do these things live a long time. These ascended masters who live on this planet, these Chinese old guys, these Japanese old guys, these English old guys, these people around the world that you know that do these things, whoever does these things and balances themselves, and they do it all the time, you find those people live to be very old. Why? Because they're very spiritual, whether you like it or not. For those of you who are atheists, they don't eat of the tree of life. They don't eat crap food. They don't fill their body with junk. And they don't have to exercise. They don't have to, but it helps if you exercise and you do those things, doing Tai Chi or whatever, and meditating or doing yoga, or you do all of that stuff just a few minutes a day. A few minutes a day. Pay attention to the cycle of this planet, the cycle of your body, and you can live for a very long time, and your body will heal itself. Your body, let me say that again, your body will heal itself because you're healing the self. Okay, so the secret that is known to the masters by which they hold off the fingers of death. Neglect not to follow the path that I have shown for you when thou hast passed beyond years to 100 to neglect. It will mean the coming of death. Hear ye my word.
Neglect not to follow the path I have shown, for when thou hast passed beyond stars to 100, to neglect it will mean the coming of death. Hear ye my words and follow the pathway. Keep thou thy balance and live on in life. Hear ye, O man, and listen to my voice. Listen to the wisdom that gives thee of death. When at the end of thy work appointed, thou may desire to pass from this life. Pass to the plane where the sons of the morning live and have being as children of light.
Okay, so the way it used to be is the way that Thoth is talking right here. When at the end of thy work appointed, when you're at the end of it, when you have signed up to live for a certain amount of time to learn a certain number of things while you're on this planet. Sound familiar? Okay. You hear about this in other cultures. You hear about this in other religious practices and other spiritual ways, that you live here for a certain amount of time because you have signed on to learn a certain specific things and a certain number of things and to do a certain number of things. And when you're done with those, you can decide when to leave. That is the way it's supposed to happen. So here you have another person from a completely different culture, from a completely different time in our universal history, whether you believe it was invented in 1929 or not. And they're telling you the same thing. You're in a place where you're supposed to live for a great number of years, and you're supposed to be able to decide when you're done. I'm tired, I'm done, I'm at the end of it, I've already done it, I'm preparing to go. And you tell your family, I'm going to go now because it's my time. And that's just the way it is. And some of you know about somebody in your family who did that. My grandmother did that. My grandmother said, I've done everything that I came here to do. She was in the hospital and said this. I've done everything that I came here to do. Everybody around me is fine. They don't need me. I'm becoming a burden. It's time for me to go. And she looked at my mom and said, I'm going to go now because it is my time and there's no reason for me to stay here. And my mom started crying and said, no, wait, I'm not ready for you to go. I want you to stay. And she said, that's your thing. You want me to stay because you don't know where I'm going and what's going on, but it is my time and I'm going to go. And then she just kicked, man. She just died. She just went. You guys out there know of a story about just something just like that. That happened to my family because my grandmother did it. My father did the same thing. My father was in the hospital and he said to my brother and myself, hold on a second, when my mom and my sister left, and he said, it's my time to go. So get ready. This is what you need to do. This is when I was like, I don't want you to go. It's not time. And he was like, it is my time. It is my time. And it's going to be that way. I'm going to go now. And you guys have to take care of your mom, take care of your sister, take care of these things. And this is the way it's going to be. And we were like, okay. And we were like, wow. All right. So literally when we were walking out of the room, my brother looked at me and said, we're never going to see him again, are we? And I said, no, we're not. He died that night. Okay. He knew it was his time. He knew he was going to go. He knew that he was supposed to, and he just kicked. He went. Okay. So that happens. And there are some people that know it. Those are the people that lived here and got to see the time when they went, I'm done. I did everything that I was supposed to do. Not everybody gets to do that. This is what we're here to help restore. Okay. So let me go back over here and know that if you want, you can do these things. If you don't believe me, don't do them. I'm not here to be your savior. I'm not Jesus Christ. I'm not doing that. That's not what I came here to do. Jesus did that 2,000 years ago. I'm here now to do this. Okay. I'm not here to do what Jesus did. He already did it. Okay. I'm not here to do what Muhammad did. He already did it. I'm here to give you back the balance, to restore the balance, and give you the tools that you need and answer any questions that you have and channel that information for you. Whether you believe it or not, I don't care, because I'm not here to convince you. You're supposed to pick this shit up on your own. That's what you're supposed to be doing anyway. So I'm not coming here to do those things that those people did. Those people came here to go, listen, everybody. And that's what Thoth came here to go. Listen, old man, he says, hear ye, old man, and listen to my voice. Listen to the wisdom that I give you, that it gives thee of death, when at the end of thy work appointed thou may desire to pass from this life, pass to the plane where the sons of the morning live and have been as children of light. Pass away pain and pass without sorrow into the plains where is eternal light.
Pass without pain and pass without sorrow into the plain where is eternal light. First lie at rest with thine head to the eastward. Fold thou thy hands at the source of thy life. Solar plexus. Place thou thy consciousness in the life seat. Whirl it and divide it to north and to south. Send thou the one out toward the northward. Send thou the other out to the south.
Okay, that would be the Kundalini energy and the Kunda buffer energy, not respective of what he was saying. The energy that you're sending downward would be the Kundalini masculine energy that you're sending downward and balancing the chakras that are of the earth plane from the heart down, the bottom three chakras. The Kunda buffer energy, the feminine energy of the Kundalini fire, of the Kundalini energy, you're swirling and sending above from the heart chakra, above to the upper three chakras, into the plane where the eternal light first lies at rest within thine head. To the eastward, fold thy hands at the source of thine life, solar plexus. Place thou thy consciousness, thought, in the life seat. Whirl at the divine to the north and to the south. Send thou the one toward the northward. Send thou the other out to the south. Relax thou thy hold upon thy being. Forth from thy form will thy silver spark fly. The silver cord. Have you guys heard about that? Okay, the silver cord. So here we have someone who didn't know anything about the silver cord and couldn't have, if there was no, in 1929, and they didn't have access to, say, like just the pagan Wiccan ideology, right? The silver cord is the cord that attaches your spirit body to your physical body, so that if you are separating from your physical body and doing astral projecting or dream walking or whatever, and you leave your body too long and you get lost out there, how do I get back to my body? The silver cord pulls your body back, or pulls your spirit back into that body. It anchors you to this body that you're in, so you can't get lost from it and run around. So relax and hold upon thy being. Forth from thy form will thy silver spark fly, upward and onward to the sun of the morning, blending with the light. So then you can actually go and leave to source, but you're still attached to the body, so you don't have to worry about getting stuck. Some people are doing this with DMT, ayahuasca, psilocybin, THC in high levels, and they're doing these things and having this trip where they're leaving their body and they're going to the center of the universe, and then something pulls them back into their body, or someone says it's not your time and shoves them back, and they come to their body. So here they're saying you can astral project. Here the Thoth is saying that if you meditate and you concentrate and you do these things, you can actually do that. You can actually leave your body in meditation, which I'm going to be leading you guys in meditation. I'm going to be making videos in the future coming up to where we're going to be doing exactly this, but this will be more of an advanced meditation that we'll be doing probably in a class where we'll be doing this one, because this one will be introducing you to your higher self and things like that. So my wife and I will be doing classes on this for meditation. We're also going to be doing some videos, her and I, probably me first, and then once I get her used to speaking to a microphone, probably her as well, because right now her confidence isn't that great with speaking, but she does it. If I don't say anything to her, she does it, and she just teaches, which I love. But then when I say, here, let's do this, and then she goes, wait, no, people are going to be watching? I'm like, you do this every day, right? You do it all the time. However, let me continue with this, because this is a meditation. If you meditate already on your own and you are an advanced meditative state, or you can achieve that on your own, this is a good spot to make sure that you earmark at this 2 hour and 32 minute mark into this video here, right at the end of Emerald Tablet 13, or the entire Emerald Tablet, and listen to this, or write it down, or print it out, or get a printout of it, because this is actually showing you how you can meditate and have an out of body and actually go to your higher form, go to your higher self. So if you can do this on your own, do it. If you don't know what you're doing, don't try this, because you'll scare yourself. Don't worry, you won't get lost and you won't be detached from your body. Even if you pull yourself out of your body, it'll jerk you back, so don't worry about that. But you might want to have somebody who knows what they're doing to assist you, because it will be easier if you do that. Same thing with like any kind of trip with a psilocybin or DMT or any of that. If you don't have the right people around you, they'll screw with you and give you a bad experience. If you have the right people that can assist you, that's why we tell everybody, don't do that stuff unless you have the correct people around you that will assist you with that. All right, let's continue here.
Relax thou their hold upon thy being, forth from thy form will thy silver spark fly, upward and onward to the sun of the morning, blending with light at one with its source. There it shall flame till desire shall be created, then shall return to a place in a form. Know ye, O men, that thus pass the great souls, changing at will from life unto life. Thus ever passes the avatar, willing his death as he wills his own life.
So when you do die, you go through this, right? You notice the use of the word avatar here. Do you think that was something they added later on in the translation? Or do you think that word was written down in 1929 before we even knew what an avatar was? I think somebody should investigate that. Let's continue.
Listen ye, O man, drink of my wisdom. Learn ye the secret that is master of time. Learn ye how those ye call masters are able to remember the lives of the past. Great is the secret, yet easy to master, giving to thee the mastery of time. When upon thee death fast approaches, fear not, but know ye are the master of death. Relax thy body, resist not with tension. Place in thy heart the flame of thy soul. Swiftly then sweep it to the seat of the triangle. Hold for a moment, then move to the goal. This thy goal is the place between thine eyebrows, the place where the memory of life must hold sway. Hold thou thy flame here in thy brain seat, until the fingers of death grasp thy soul. Then as thou pass through the state of transition, surely the memories of life shall pass too. Then shall the past be as one with the present, then shall the memory of all be retained. Free shalt thou be from all retrogression, the things of the past shall live in today.
Okay, so that's the
Tablet 14, supplementary.
Started that again. Okay, so obviously you're not going to be dying and passing away if you're doing the meditation, right? But that is also the course that you will take when you die, as you then ascend back to the place of reflecting, the place of healing. If you're just a Christian, you only believe that you're going to go to heaven and that's it. You have one life and then you go to heaven. Or you have one life and then you go to purgatory until the end of it all, and you sit there in a state of prison in some cell somewhere, or completely just turned off, frozen, not knowing time exists until God decides that everybody has to be called up for the judgment, which is not true and not going to happen. You judge yourself. God is not judging anyone. God is allowing you to be who and what you want to be, whether people who are good or evil like it or not. That's just the way the universe actually works. You're the one who judges yourself. You're the one who is going to who you're going to have to actually listen to and hear from as a judging of your character and what it is that you're doing in life. God's not sitting up there. Let's see how much time God has in the day. Just with Earth, with 8 billion people listening to every thought that everyone says, watching everything that everyone's doing, waiting for them to pray to him so he can answer their prayers, and at the same moment, judging everything you do from second to second to second. Well, God is too cool like that. God does that. Come on. That's something you would tell a child. You have to be a child to believe that. You have to be a child to believe that God is literally watching you, waiting for you to do something. You also have to be a child to believe that if you said, God damn it, that you're going to go to hell for the rest of your existence and there's no way you can ever come back. Well, I have to tell God I'm sorry and I have to really mean it. Right? Oh, so I'm so sorry, sir. I used your name. I said something bad about you. Okay, God's not going to judge you for that. God doesn't do that. There's no guy named Peter who, I mean, there is guys named Peter, but there's no Saint Peter standing at the pearly gates. You're not going to go and die and show up on a cloud with gates in front of you and some guy with a podium with this big giant book that he's going to go, and he's going to look up your name and go, nope, naughty list. Santa says you can't come in. To hell, and then you're going to go for all eternity from now until forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And you can say that over and over and over in your head because you're going to be there forever and ever and ever and ever, and you can never come back. Does that sound like a God that loves you and loves the universe and I'm going to judge you? You have until this time. That's it. No more time. You screwed up. Going to hell is where you're going. You see? There's my wife. Hi, baby. I love you. There's yeah. Hi to you. I'm going to put her up on the screen. There is my wife right there. I love that woman. Right there. Right there. Right there. If you guys can see my finger. I love you, baby. You must be on break. So there is no judgment day. You judge yourself. Your judgment day needs to be now. Your judgment day, no matter who you are on the earth, you need to have your dark night of the soul right now. You need to have a judgment day right now and change your life. You need to decide, wait a minute, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe life isn't the problem. And hold yourself responsible for your own actions. If you lie, it's your fault, not anyone else's. If you steal, it's your fault, no one else's problem. No one else's fault. Okay? If you murder somebody, you rape somebody, you're making that decision. No, I can't help it. There's a ghost talking to me. That dog told me to do it. That cow told me to do it. It's not my fault. It was someone else. The devil got me. He's possessed me. I'm not the one who's at fault. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You are doing this and you have made the choice. And you will be your own jury and executioner because you will at some point judge yourself for doing it. God's not going to do it. God's just going to wait for you to do it to yourself because that is the way it's set up. Okay? I don't care what they teach you in the religions. I don't care what they teach you in the because that's just not true. There was nowhere where Jesus would tell you that. There was nowhere, and they go, oh, God said he's going to come like a thief in the night. He wasn't talking about when he was returning. Okay, that's not what that was about. You should go look it up. God wasn't saying to anyone, wait right here, and I'm going to come back and get you. That's not what was said. It's just like when people hear when Jesus said, turn the other cheek. Oh, that means I got to let somebody beat me up. That's not what he was saying. It's not what he meant. Okay? He was saying, don't become the enemy. Don't become who they are. Don't do to them that they're doing to you because you're trying to exact revenge. That is not what you're about. Don't do it. Okay? Wasn't saying turn the other cheek and let them punch you in the face. Okay? He was saying to defend yourself and stop them from killing you, but don't kill them back because you're exacting revenge because you're not evil. That's what he was saying. Do not do that to them. Don't go, ha, now I've got you, and now I'm going to make you feel what I felt. Have the wherewithal to be the adult and show pity and mercy on people because they are evil and they know not what they do. And that is why he said those things when he was on the cross. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. He was pleading with his Father to not judge them because he was taking on their sins. I don't care if you're non-Christian, you're getting mad at me right now. You have a version of that in your religion, whatever your religion is. And you know that. And if you don't, it's because your religious scholars are not teaching you your own Talmud. So whatever it is that you call a Bible, whatever it is that you call your spiritual book, look in there, because that story's in there. That story's in there the same. It may not have the name Jesus as that savior character, but that story's in there. So if you're like a Muslim and there is only one God and Muhammad is his prophet, so you're going to murder people over the name of the prophet. I mean, because the Christians will say there is only one God and Jesus is his prophet, but the people who those religions respond from, the Hebrews, they say there is only one God and someone else is the prophet, and everybody's killing each other over the name of the prophet who is teaching you the same fucking thing from the same fucking God. Grow up. Grow the fuck up. Every religion on this planet is teaching you the same thing, because every religion on this planet, although they have a different name that they call the God because they have a different language, doesn't mean it's a different God, because the message is the same. The entire message is the same and the way is the same. The difference is semantical bullshit that you guys have from a language. Okay? If I say assalamu alaikum to you and you're a Christian, you know those words. You just don't know them in that language. Okay? And the response to that is alaikum salam. Okay? What are those words in English? Peace be with you and also with you. Same fucking words spoken in a different language, and people are killing each other over them. Awula Akbar. Awula Akbar. What is that? That's an evil word coming from some crazy zealot. You know those words in English. God be praised. It is proper to worship God. Look them up. Okay? The underlining message from all spiritual practice is identical. Stop killing each other and competing over which language you're saying it in and the name that you're worshiping as the creator. My God's different than your God. How is your God different? What is your God saying that my God's not saying? What is your God saying and that you're supposed to be doing? What is your prophet saying that you're supposed to be doing? Okay? If you listen to the message, you'll find that they're the same. So a different person told you because it was a different culture with a different language, but the message was being taught around the world to every single culture. And everybody's killing each other over who delivered the message to them. And hence the term, don't kill the messenger. Okay? So look at the message that was given to you in every culture on the face of this earth throughout all of time, and you'll find that the message is the same. Doesn't matter where it came from. Oh, but we have to find out who wrote that original scroll. It must have been the Anunnaki when they came here and they created all religions by giving us this fake religion that doesn't mean anything. Weird that it actually does, but if you're self-serving and you're living in the flesh, it doesn't mean shit to you, because I'm crazy. Okay. But if you're self-serving and of the flesh, unless you just happen to pop in right now, you're nowhere near listening still, because you would have ejected out in about 30 seconds if you stayed that long. The problem is that also, if you're online and you're swiping, you're not making it past 3 seconds. Okay. You're not making it past 3 seconds. Swipe, 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 swipe. What? Swipe, 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 swipe. Ha ha. Swipe, 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 swipe. Yeah. Swipe, swipe, swipe. Okay? Because that is what they're creating in you and instilling in you. And AI is making sure that you continue to swipe. I'm going to talk about that on Instagram, on TikTok. I don't know if it'll be tonight. It'll probably be tomorrow, but I'm going to talk about that, where I had a conversation with AI and it took screenshots of it, and I'm going to read it to you. And I asked questions. Okay, people are doing that all over the internet, but they're not asking these questions, and that's why I asked them. I was like, why are people not asking these questions? Maybe they were, and I just haven't found the videos. But I'm going to talk about that on TikTok when I go live. So if you're not already following me on TikTok, go and follow me on TikTok and hit and smash that button and wait for me to go live. I don't know if it'll be today, but it could be later on tonight. I'm not sure yet. It'll be either tonight or it will be tomorrow, because tomorrow will be, in fact, Sunday over here. So I'll either be going live tomorrow on TikTok or later tonight. Depends on what I'm doing with my wife. Chances are I'll be hanging out with my wife when she comes home, because I love her, and I'm not going to be going live unless she wants to be in the audience when I do it, right? And she's there. She is talking to me. I love you, baby. So she might decide to moderate for me, and I might go live and talk about that. We'll see. Probably be tomorrow. Okay. But I am going to go live on TikTok, and I am going to talk about it. And I am going to record it, because I'll be in the studio, the TikTok studio, sitting right here. I'll record it, and then I will post it for you guys who are on Facebook and YouTube that don't have TikTok. I'll post it for you guys. And for those of you listening on MP3 file, it will be there too. There won't be any visuals for you to see, because I'll just be reading it off of my phone to you, and then talking about it and talking about what's going on. Okay. So let me continue here. Maybe we should start with the other one. Let me see what time it is here. I've only been live for 2 hours. So let's get into the next segment. So thank you. Right. Brooke said I will moderate for you, baby. I love you. We'll either do it tonight or do it tomorrow, and I'll go live on TikTok, and that way Brooke can moderate for me. And then we'll see if Peter pops in, and we'll have him moderate too. That way we don't have any bots, because I'm going to be talking about that, and it might get me kicked off of TikTok. You never know. Okay. So let's go ahead and start the next session of tablet 14. Because we still have time, and all the weak children have already stopped listening, and they think I'm crazy and they're gone anyways. So we'll go ahead and start on the next tablet, and we'll do some interpretation. So let me go over here and put this in a full screen, and we'll start with Emerald Tablet 14, Becoming Thrice Great. Okay, so that's where we have Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great, and people called Hermes that. And here we have becoming 3 times great. And this is going to be the explanation of becoming what the Thoth was talking about, and what they meant when Hermes got the title of Trismegistus, or Trismegistus, 3 times great. So let's continue with this and figure out what is becoming 3 times great.
Atlantis. Listen ye, O man, to the deep hidden wisdom, lost to the world since the time of the dwellers, lost and forgotten by men of this age. Know ye this earth is but a portal, guarded by powers unknown to man, yet the dark lords hide the entrance.
Okay, so here, think about this now, people. This is why I wanted to start this. Okay, what am I saying in my book? Okay, what am I saying in my book? The reality about reality, returning to the old ways. What am I saying in there? I'm saying in there that at a certain time in human history, evil people got a hold of an information, and they took away the information that you need to get yourselves out of this place, out of this school, to then graduate. Now let me go right back over here, put this up on the screen, and read this for you one more time. The Emerald Tablet 14, Becoming Thrice Greatest, list ye. O man, to the deep hidden wisdom, lost to the world since the time of the dwellers, lost and forgotten by men of this age. Know ye, this earth is but a portal, guarded by powers unknown to man. Yet the dark lords hide the entrance that leads to the heaven-born land. Okay? So evil people who believe that they own this earth have taken away the knowledge from you of how to ascend to heaven. So here you have Thoth the Atlantean. Okay, whether this was written in 1929 or not. I did not read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth before I wrote my book. I learned this knowledge because it was unlocked to me, that at a time there was knowledge on this earth that was commonplace, just like Penny said earlier, was common knowledge, and that common knowledge was taken from us at a certain time in history by evil people. So here you see on your screen, list ye, old man, to the deep hidden wisdom, lost to the world since the time of the dwellers, lost and forgotten by men of this age. Know ye, this earth is but a portal. Okay, so this is a portal to another reality. This is a school. This is a place that you're supposed to go to and graduate from and go to another place. guarded by the powers unknown to man. Yet the dark lords hide the entrance that leads to the heaven-born land. Know ye the way to this place. Okay, so it is here for you, right before your eyes. It is here. You just have to look for it. The tools are here. I love you too, baby. I'll talk to you when you come home, all right? Or when you call me on your break, because I'll probably be off of here by that time. I love you, baby. Have a good rest of your moments, right? Love your energy, baby. Kicking over tables, I know, right? Yeah, seriously, right? I love you. So my wife's got to go back to work, and I will see you when you call. Give me a call when you're on your other break. I love you, baby. Okay. I think she already left before I said that, but still, it's there because if she ever listens to it, she'll know that I said that. Okay. So let's continue with this. So here is literally, there is a way that you can learn, and some of the things that have been said to you, all of the things that have been said to you in the 13 chapters before this 14th chapter will show you that way to ascend to heaven, to leave this planet and get to where you're supposed to be going. Okay? This information is right in front of you, and it's been taken from you by evil people and guarded from you. So let's pay the bills, right? Let's go ahead and pay the bills real quick, and then we'll get back into this. So I wrote a book about this information, and it is called The Reality About Reality, Returning to the Old Ways.
What is the reality about reality? Returning to the old ways. It is a comprehensive book about what is really going on here on this planet. It talks about the true spirituality that the controllers who think they own this planet have been keeping from you for thousands of years. It explains to you the knowledge that you gain from the universe itself when you live the way the prophets of the world throughout time told us how to live. Eat right, meditate, take care of yourself, treat others right. All the things they originally told us to do, but the controllers have removed from right in front of our eyes. The way to ascend to heaven. The reality about reality. Returning to the old ways. On sale worldwide, online now.
Okay, so know ye, this earth is but a portal guarded by powers unknown to man. Yet the dark lords hide the entrance that leads to the heaven-born land.
That leads to the heaven-born land. Know ye the way to the sphere of Arulu is guarded by barriers opened only to light-born man. Upon earth I am the holder of the keys to the gates of the sacred land. Command I by the powers beyond me to leave the keys to the world of man. Before I depart, I give ye the secrets of how ye may rise from the bondage of darkness. Cast off the fetters of flesh that have bound ye. Rise from the darkness into the light. Know ye the soul must be cleansed of its darkness. Here ye may enter the portals of light. Thus I established among ye the mysteries, so that the secrets may always be found. I, though man may fall into darkness, always the light will shine as a guide. Hidden in darkness, veiled in symbols, always the way to the portal will be found.
Okay, so it's always here. It's right in front of you. You just have to look for it. Okay? The way to heaven or Elysium or the halls of Amente or whatever you call that, the way to Valhalla is within you. It is here for you to see, here for you to find, here for you to read. It is in everything. All you have to do is look for it. If you don't look for it, you're not going to find it. Pure and simple. If you don't look for it, you will never find it. But you can't look for it in the flesh. Everybody is always looking for the land of milk and honey out there in the world somewhere. Everybody's looking for the fountain of youth out there in the world somewhere because it was promised by some guru. It was promised by a prophet. It was promised by the Son of Man. It was promised by someone that God sent here to tell you that it's out there for you to have. But everybody thinks that it's a physical place that they have to go and find. So when you're in the physical and you are self-serving, you're going to think that there is a land of milk and honey that you have to go and find. There's going to be a way to change lead into gold and you're going to get rich. There's a way to find this fountain of youth, and if you drink the water from there, you'll never die and you'll be alive forever and ever and ever. Amen. Because that's what you're looking for. You're looking for something in the flesh because you only believe that there is flesh, and that's all you believe in this place, and that there is nothing else. And as long as you believe that and keep looking for it, you will never find anything but this place and sorrow. Let me repeat that. If you continue to look for everything in the physical plane, you will never find anything but this place and sorrow. If you look within yourself and you look into a spiritual way, and you are, even if you don't even care about God or spirituality, if you are a good person and in service to others and look within yourself and live that way, you will unlock the knowledge, whether you want to believe God exists or not. God will give you the knowledge to leave this place and go to the next plane. You don't even have to believe in God. You don't even have to believe in spirituality. You don't have to believe in anything at all. And you will still unlock the same information as long as you are in service to others and a good person. But you can only fool yourself. Okay? Because you can fool humans and they'll believe it. But you can't fool the universe and get into the higher planes by pretending. So you can pretend to people and go, I'm neutral, I'm good. But in your mind, you know you're not, because that's not going to unlock the information on how to get out of here. Okay, so you don't have to believe me. You can continue living your life exactly the way you're living it right now, because I don't care. I'm not here to be your savior. I'm here to give you tools and restore the balance. So if you don't choose to take the tools from myself or anyone just like me, I'm still going to get out of here when I'm done with my contract, and you'll still be here and I won't. But you won't believe it, because maybe I'll just die and you'll go, well, he's just dead. Of course he's not here. He's done. I'm still here. Ha, ha, ha. I win. Okay? And then you'll believe that until you die. And then all of a sudden, when you die, you heard what was being told to you earlier. When you die, you go to the place where you go to the place of reflecting with your higher self. Even Thoth just said this to you in the last chapter. You will go to a place where then you will remember who you are and remember what you know. And then you'll design a new life, and then you'll come down and you'll be born again, and you'll have that memory erased from you. There'll be a veiling again, and you won't remember it. But when you're up there, you do remember it. Okay? So I don't care if you believe it when you're down here. I really don't. I'm only here to do the job that I'm here to do. I came here to help you. Whether you want to listen to that, whether you want to be helped, is completely up to you. Completely. You can think I'm crazy and I won't care. You can say I am crazy and walk away from me, and I will not try to stop you. You can believe me and say I'm crazy and walk away from me and go and look for yourself. And I, again, will not try to stop you. I will not try to convince you, and I'm not going to try and sell you anything, except for maybe my book and the information. And who knows, maybe I'll sell you some Reiki and some Ormus and some other third dimensional stuff that could help you along your way, unless you don't think it will. Then you won't buy it. Just like you won't buy the knowledge from me that I'm talking about now. And I don't care. Because I'm not here to make sure that everyone on this planet listens to me and believes me. I'm not here for that. I'm here to give you tools and to leave tools for you along the way, so that if you actually want it, you might think that what I'm saying might ring true with you. And if it does, question everything and go down that road for yourself. Okay? I'm not your savior. Your savior is within you. Okay? I'm not here to be Jesus for you. That happened already. This life, I'm here to be this person, and I'm here to do these things, and I have tools for you, and I'm trying to help guide you and answer your questions. If you don't ask questions and you don't want guidance, then go someplace else, right? That's exactly, find someone else that you like, that you're okay with. I'm all right with that. I don't get offended by that. It's the way it's supposed to be, so I don't get offended, okay? So do what you're going to do, but if you're paying attention and you think that I might have something for you that might help you in some way, pay attention. Because I'm giving you the secrets to the universe. All you have to do is listen. And not to me. I'm telling you the same thing these people are. In my book, I tell you the same thing. But here's another example of it. Okay? Thoth the Atlantean. I showed you the example of Hermes Trismegistus telling you the same thing. Before that, I showed you the example of Ra being channeled by Carla 40, whatever many years ago that was, 42 years ago. Okay? And I'll continue showing you where, and I talk about it all the time, and I show you where in the Bible Jesus said the same things. I tell you where Lao Tzu from Taoism, from the Tao Te Ching, says the same things. I also show you examples of where the Buddha from Buddhism says the same things. I show you examples of where Thor is doing the same thing and says the same thing, and Odin says the same thing. I show you things where Muhammad said the same things. I show you things where Moses said the same things. I'm one of the few people that are showing you all of that and saying, listen, Everybody is telling you this. They can't all be wrong. Okay, let's continue.
Man in the future will deny the mysteries, but always the way the seeker will find. Now I command ye to maintain my secrets, giving only to those ye have tested, so that the power may not be corrupted, so that the power of truth may prevail. Listen ye now to the unveiling of mystery. List to the symbols of mystery I give. Make of it a religion, for only thus will its essence remain. Regions there are two between this life and the great one, traveled by the souls who depart from this earth. Duat, the home of the powers of illusion. Sekhet, Hetspet, the house of the gods. Osiris, the symbol of the guard of the portal, who turns back the souls of unworthy men. Beyond lies the sphere of the heaven-born powers. Arulu, the land where the great ones have passed. There, when my work among men has been finished, will I join the great ones of my ancient home. 7 are the mansions of the house of the mighty.
7 are the mansions of the house of the mighty. There's that number 7 again. Okay. There's the number of the chakras. 7 are the houses. What are the houses? Look those up. Okay. 7 are the chakras. Here we have again the mention of the lords that govern the archetypes. 7 are the mansions of those of the mighty. 3 guards the portals of each house from the darkness. 15 the way that lead to do it. 12 are the houses of the lords of illusion, facing 4 ways, each of them different. Is that the 4 cardinal points? Yes, it is. North, south, east, and west. 40 and 2 are the great powers. There's that number 42. There's a lot of math right here. Where's Peter Coyle when you need him? There's a lot of math right here and a lot of numbers that are sacred geometry and sacred numbers. In fact, even the words on the screen, as I'm seeing, even the words on the screen, the way that they're written, because they're center justified when the person put together this video. And if you look at the numbers on the screen, they're actually spiraling in a way that is creating the golden mean ratio, which I didn't notice before until I happened to pause it right here. That's kind of cool that right when they were talking about the numbers, there's a sacred geometry going on. It's very similar to the flower of life. Those of you who are mathematicians, you might see that and realize that. Let me see if anyone noticed it. A few people did, because this is raised in a way at this point that a lot of people were paying attention to this knowledge that is in here. But yeah, okay, where's Peter when I need him with these numbers? Let's continue.
3 guards the portal of each house from the darkness. 15 the ways that lead to Duat. 12 are the houses of the lords of illusions, facing 4 ways, each of them different.
Okay, so let me give you a little bit of 3, 6, and 9. All of these are multiples of 3. All of these are multiples of 6, right? So 3, 6, and 9, if you look at the numbers, right? 7 are the mansions. 7 is the only number that is not a multiple of 3, 6, or 9 that is in this equation, because the 7 is the earthbound number. So therefore it is a masculine number, and it is in angles. It is a masculine number, but the rest of these numbers of these different places, 3 guard the portal, each from the darkness. 15, multiple of 3, multiple of 6, right? Multiple of 3. 12, multiple of 3, okay? So 42, multiple of 3, right? So yeah, continue thinking about the masculine and feminine energies. Masculine energies are 3 energies. Feminine energies are 6 energies. Masculine energies are the energies of the angles, and the feminine energies are the circle, right? The spiral. So that is the soft, non-angle energy. Kundalini energy is the fire energy, is angles. Fire always is angles, sharp angles. Masculine, the golden mean ratio. Feminine, spiral. The goddess symbol, spiral. Okay, let's continue. Feminine numbers are even numbers. Masculine numbers are odd numbers. 3 being the only number that is a kind of a spiral. If you look at the English way of making it, we have two curves like two backward C's put together, but 3 is a masculine number if you look at it. If you do Roman numerals, it's a hard. All Roman numerals, though, were masculine. So the numbers themselves were just stick figures, which was masculine because that was a warlike, masculine-dominated society, right? But the numbers even, odd, right? So even numbers are feminine, masculine numbers are odd numbers. It's just the way that it works in the universe. 3, 6, 9. Okay, 9 is the Higgs boson. 9 is an upside down 6. 9 is everything and nothing. Okay, that's the God energy that controls them, the one ring to rule them all. Let's continue.
40 and 2 are the great powers, judging the dead who seek for the portal. 4 are the sons of Horus. 2 are the guards of east and west of Isis, the mother who pleads for her children.
All right, let me pause that. Penny, you're asking, did I accidentally mute myself? I might have when I was at one point. Well, I don't know if you can hear me now. It says my microphone's working. I might have at one point when I was, never mind, okay. I might have at one point when I was playing the commercial because my microphone gets muted. I may have started talking when my microphone was still muted and didn't unmute it. So that's possible. But chances are you probably accidentally did it and you figured it out, right? So I apologize if I was muted for you for a second there. All right, let's continue.
Queen of the moon, reflecting the sun. Ba is the essence living forever. Ka is the shadow that man knows as life. Ba cometh not until Ka is incarnate.
Okay, so the names will always change depending on the culture. So now you have Ba and Ka, right? But if you look at this from a standpoint of a theologian, right? You look at that and okay, so let me go here. 42 are the great powers judging the dead who seek for the portal. 4 are the sons of Horus. 2 are the guards of the east and of the west of Isis, right? The mother who pleads for her children. Queen of the moon, reflecting the sun. The moon being feminine, the sun being masculine. Masculine. The sun is fire. It's light. It's masculine. The moon is soft, round, soft, reflecting the sun. Feminine. Okay. Ba is the essence living forever. Ka is the shadow that man knows as life. So Ba, which is the forever, is the feminine energy, which is the upper 3 chakras, which is the spiritual plane being in service to others. Ka, even using the K as a hard sound, but even in English, when you look at the lettering, Ba, the B is a round B, and the Ka is the angles. Ka is the shadow that man knows as life, physical plane, lower 3 chakras. So Ka is the physical plane, masculine energy. Ba is the etheric plane or spiritual plane, upper 3 chakras. Lower 3 chakras masculine, upper 3 chakras. So it's always in everything when you look at spiritual practice or you look at a religion, especially when you get away from the semantical part of the religion and you get into the sum of all fears or the common denominator or the meat of the subject. That is the spiritual or philosophical ideology or message. You're going to find that these people who claim that all of this was just invented and made up, there are things like this that has deeper meaning in all of these religious texts all around the world, no matter which ones they are. So the problem with the religious text is the person who wrote it is more intelligent than any other human in the history of this earth. And they're the ones who wrote it because this information, if you look at, I was watching a video when they were talking about the Hebrew Bible alone. So let's just talk about what the Christians call the Old Testament. Okay, let me pull myself up on screen and give you guys a little bit of a theological ideology. Okay, so the Bible itself, we're not even talking about the New Testament, what the Christians call the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible. Okay, and then if you add that to the Christian New Testament, which is not very many books compared to the Hebrew books, you put all those books together. Those books were written by men who claimed that they had knowledge from either Jesus or God, and they wrote this information down. Okay. It was written by 300 different men. 300. Just the Talmud, that is the Hebrew Bible, and the Christian Bible. Written by 300 different men over the course of 10,000 years. Okay, or maybe 5,000 years. Let's just say it was 3,000 years. Let's go whatever. 300 different men throughout time claimed that they were channeling information from a Godhead and wrote stuff down. Just in those two religions, which spawned, or that one religion that spawned the Christian religion and the Hebrew religion, or the Muslim. So those three religions are based on 300 men writing things down that they claimed they were talking to God. Then we have other religions that have come off of that, like the Gnostic religion, Gnosis, that says they talked to Jesus secretly and got information, and now they have stuff written down. There's other people that have done the same thing, and they've claimed this. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. Then you take that information, 300 men wrote that. Let's move that into a package right here. Gnosticism by itself. Hermetic text by itself. Another group of people. The religion that is the Viking religion. Another group of people. The religion that is the Buddhism, Taoism, right? All of these other religions from around the world. Just start adding them up. How many people wrote all of those books? The only way that they can tell you that those books were all made up in some way is they have to tell you that all those books were borrowed from one person writing this down, because all of them say the same thing in different ways. And people who learn that know that. And they say every single religion throughout time on this entire earth, from every single culture, whether they exist today or do not exist today, if we have information about them, we find that they were teaching the same information. So they have to tell you that, well, that's borrowed from this people, that was borrowed from those people, that was borrowed from those people, because they have to tell you that one person wrote that shit down by themselves. But we know that the Hebrew Bible had 300 different people who put that together. And all these other ones were, all these other hundreds of people, thousands of people put all this stuff together. So did they all read the same books? The odds of 10,000 men throughout 12,000 years reading the exact same books and only writing down the exact same knowledge with all the things they changed, places, times, God names, deity names, a combination of whether it was a masculine or feminine name, being a god or a goddess in charge, or a godhead that is dual, or no feminine, just the masculine. All of those things change all over the world. The language changes all over the world. The events are the same all over the world. So why did they choose this one event to not change? But they changed everything else to fit the culture. Why would they do that? And why is that the only event in the history of the earth that didn't change when people were writing about it? Ask yourself that question. If you don't believe me, get 5 people in a room. Just 5. Put earphones on everybody so they can't hear each other. And take someone aside and write down a paragraph. And take one person aside and take their earmuffs off and read it to them, and then say, go tell that one. But only that one, and only take their headset off and tell them. And then put your headset back on so you can't hear what they're saying, because you don't get to correct them. And let those 5 people, you tell one person, and at the end of that, have that person tell you and compare to what you had written down. You will find that there is no story. You could even write down the story that I'm telling you that has never changed. Write that down. That will change with any people, any group of people. Why is it that that story didn't change in all religions throughout all of time, in all spiritual practices throughout all of time? By tens of thousands of people writing it down. 90% of which claim that they got it from source, not from a scroll. Why would they lie and say, this came to me from God? Well, because they wanted to be the one that was in charge, and they wanted to be, none of them were. None of them wanted that. They told the information, they left it, and they weren't trying to control people. They weren't trying to get powerful. They were not trying to get fame. They were not trying to take over and conquer the world. They were going, here's an information that you guys need. This is important, remember it. And then they left, and somebody got a hold of it and said, we need to turn this into a religion. Like Thoth is telling the people with this information, turn it into a religion so it stays. They didn't want it to be a religion, most of them, but it was turned into a religion. They wanted that knowledge to be a way of life. Jesus didn't say make a religion, but everybody says he did. He didn't. He said teach the way. He didn't say start a church and a religion. He didn't say that, but they've edited it in. Jesus said that you were going to be in charge of the church. He never actually said that. Never actually said that. He was supposed to be in charge of the way and teaching the way. Okay? There was supposed to be a way. All these people were teaching you a way. And they all said they got that information from the Godhead. I got it from source. That story never changes. Why is it that story never changes, no matter when it happens? Because the information that they unlocked is information that you, me, and everyone on this earth can and will unlock. That's why. And they're teaching you how to get to that information, just like I'm doing now, teaching you how to get to that information. There is an information that you can unlock. All you have to do is look for it. You will find it. But if you look for it in a place here on earth, you're going to find places that are empty. You're not going to find it. Okay? So that information is there for you. Let's go back over here and let Thoth tell you what I'm trying to tell you. That information is there for you to unlock, but it is within yourself. And that information is being told to you right now.
These are mysteries to preserve through the ages. Keys are they of life and death. Hear ye now the mystery of mysteries. Learn of the circle, beginningless and endless, the form of he who is one and in all. Listen and hear it. Go forth and apply it. Thus will ye travel the way that I go. Mystery in mystery, yet clear to the light-born. The secret of all I now will reveal.
Okay, mystery in mystery, yet clear to the light-born. Those of you who are awake enough to know this information, it will be clear to you. Those of you who are not, this information will be a mystery within mystery. Okay, the secret of all I know I now will reveal. I will declare a secret to the initiate, but let the door be wholly shut against the profane. 3 is the mystery. There's a 3, 6, and 9 come from the great one. Okay, information 3, 6, and 9. Mathematics, not so crazy. You don't have to know math. You just have to look. You just have to look within yourself. Let's continue.
I will declare a secret to the initiated, but let the door be wholly shut against the profane. 3 is the mystery come from the great one.
Okay, so the profane are people living in the flesh, people that do not believe, people who are not spiritual, people who only love themselves. But the initiate, those who are in service to others, there's information here that you can gain, that will gain you access to an information, that will gain you the door and the key to the door and let you get off of this rock when you're ready. If you look for it and you actually will find it, then you'll be able to open the door and know what's beyond that.
Hear, and light on thee will dawn. In the primeval dwell 3 unities. Other than these none can exist. These are the equilibrium, source of creation, one God, one truth, one point of freedom. 3 come forth from the 3 of the balance, all life, all good, all power. 3 are the qualities of God in his light home.
Okay, so 3, the lower 3 chakras. 3 come forth from the 3 of the balance, all life, all good, all power. Lower 3 chakras. 3 are the qualities of God in his light home. Initiate power, initiate wisdom, initiate love. Upper 3 chakras. Okay? So I tell you again, this information is within you by balancing your chakras. If you are in service to self, You will only live in the bottom 3 chakras, and you will not be able to unlock this information. And that is what Thoth is telling you right here. If you are able to balance your lower 3 chakras and your upper 3 chakras, you will then be able to, the 3 are the powers given to the masters to transmute evil, assist good, and discrimination, use discrimination. 3 are the things. Okay, let me continue.
Infinite power, infinite wisdom, infinite love. 3 are the powers given to the masters to transmute evil, assist good, use discrimination. 3 are the things inevitable for God to perform, manifest power, wisdom, and love. 3 are the powers creating all things, divine love possessed of perfect knowledge.
Okay, so literally you have Nikola Tesla, who is obsessed with the number 3. Obsessed with the number 3. And here you have somebody talking about 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. Think about that. Did Nikola Tesla read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and that's why he was obsessed with 3? Or did he unlock an information that gave him this obsession with the powers of 3? Okay. Ask yourself that question and run down that. Who's Nikola Tesla? What is this crazy man Leo talking about? Let's continue. Okay. So 3 are the powers creating all things, divine love possessed of perfect knowledge, divine wisdom, knowing all possible means, divine power possessed by the joint will of divine love and wisdom. 3 are the articles, states of existence. The circle of light where dwells nothing but God.
Divine wisdom knowing all possible means. Divine power possessed by the joint will of divine love and wisdom. 3 are the circles, states of existence. The circle of light where dwells nothing but God, and only God can traverse it. The circle of chaos where all things by nature arise from death.
Okay, so the circle of chaos, that would be this plane, the 3rd dimensional plane, the lower 3 chakras. Okay, so that is the plane where nothing can exist, right? The circle of light where dwells nothing but God, only God can traverse it. The circle of chaos where all things by nature arise from death. Earth plane, 3rd dimension. Okay, the circle of awareness. Now these circles that they're talking about are also chakras. Okay, the circle of awareness where all things spring from life. So think about this. So the circles that we're talking about now are the chakras, and their places, if you listen to them, they're telling you where their places are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what? 6, 7. Okay, so these are chakra points that are key chakra points for you to balance. And if you are in service to self, you will live in the flesh. If you are in service to others, you will then move out of the flesh into the spirit.
The circle of awareness where all things spring from life. All things animate are of 3 states of existence, chaos or death, liberty and humanity, and felicity of heaven. 3 necessities control all things, beginning in the great deep, the circle of chaos.
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you...
Chaos, plenitude in heaven. 3 are the paths of the soul, man, liberty, light. 3 are the hindrances, lack of endeavor to obtain knowledge, non-attachment to God, attachment to evil. In man, the 3 are manifest. 3 are the kings of power within.
See, so living in the flesh as opposed to living in the spirit. 3 are the hindrances, lack of endeavor to obtain knowledge, right? Non-attachment to God, attachment to evil. In man, the 3 are manifest. 3 are the kings of power within. 3 are the chambers of the mysteries, found yet not found in the body of man. Okay, so if you're living in the lower 3 chakras, you're going to be living in the flesh, away from God, and here it's being told to you. 3 are hindrance. 3 are the hindrance, lower 3 chakras. Lack of endeavor to obtain knowledge. staying here in flesh, looking for power, money, fame, glory, wisdom in the ways of the earth, non-attached to God, attached to evil. In man, the three are manifest. In human form, in the flesh, those three chakras are manifest. Those three powers are absolute. Unless you move into the spirit, if you start moving into the upper three chakras and you start moving into that, okay? Three are the kings of power within. Three are the chambers of mysteries found yet not found in the body of man. Hear ye now of he who is liberated, freed from the bondage of life into light. So if you're living in the flesh, those things are going to rule you. And then you're going to live nothing but in the body of a human, staying here in this place. Okay. And then hear ye now of he who is liberated from those bottom three chakras and moving into the light, the upper three chakras.
Three are the chambers of the mysteries, found yet not in the body of man. Hear ye now of he who is liberated, freed from the bondage of life into light, knowing the source of all worlds shall be open. Aye, even the gates of Arulu shall not be barred. Yet heed, O man, who wouldst enter heaven, if ye be not worthy, better it be to fall into the fire. Know ye the celestials pass through the pure flame. At every revolution of the heavens they bathe in the fountains of light. Listen ye, O man, to this mystery. Long in the past before ye were man-born, I dwelled in ancient Atlantis. There in the temple I drank of the wisdom, poured as a fountain of light from the dweller. Give the key to ascend to the presence of light in the great world. Stood I before the Holy One enthroned in the flower of fire. Veiled was he by the lightnings of darkness, else my soul by the glory have been shattered. Forth from the feet of his throne, like the diamond, rolled forth 4 rivers of flame from his footstool, rolled through the channels of clouds to the man-world. Filled was the hall with spirits of heaven. Wonder of wonders was the starry palace. Above the sky, like a rainbow of fire and sunlight, were formed the spirits. Sang they the glories of the Holy One. Then, from the midst of the fire came a voice.
Okay, so now they're telling you this is the same stories. If you look in most of the Bibles, when people are being called up to the place where God, or to the center of the universe, wherever you believe that place is, people who take ayahuasca, psilocybin, and the like, DMT, and they have these visions, they go to this kind of place. They go there to where this place is happening, and they're like, what? This is beautiful. I don't want to ever leave here. People who don't believe in the Godhead of any kind, they don't believe that there's anything in the universe, they don't believe there's any creator, they don't believe in any of this. They say that's just some shit that goes on in your brain. Again, Mandela effect, weirdly, right? That's just some shit that you have that is a delusion that, well, we believe that when your brain is dying, that just happens. Well, the only reason that you had that effect is because you were on drugs, and the drugs made you see those things. And because you were probably brought up with one of the religions, of course you're going to manifest that into your brain because you're on drugs, because that's not going to happen to normal people. It takes drugs to make you do that. And that's what they do, and that's what they say, and that's how they say that you saw it, because it was just a delusion that is in some way programmed. And then you have the ancient aliens people that go, that's right, it is programmed by these aliens who came down here called the Anunnaki, and they changed this DNA and something in our brain, and they make us believe these things. And so it actually makes us believe in a God and look for a God. And so when we hallucinate, when we take drugs, we hallucinate about this same God, and we all hallucinate the same way about this same God, and we can't help ourselves because these evil aliens came here and they took control of man. And we're all just slaves, man. Keep paying for my show. Keep us on the air so we can keep making money, and we can tell you about all the stuff that we're not giving you any information, that we keep pretending that we're going to give you information, and you keep coming back and back and back. And they've been doing it since 2012, and we're in 2025, and they haven't told you anything that they didn't tell you in the first season of the Ancient Aliens. You can go back to the first season of Ancient Aliens and watch that one alone by itself. Never watch anything else, and you'll know exactly the same amount that a person who has watched every single episode of Ancient Aliens from 2012 until today, and you'll have the same exact knowledge to talk to that one person who said, well, then he'll go, but then they said in this other episode, and they'll tell you the same shit that they already told you in the first episode, and you'll go, but they talked about it in the first episode. Yeah, but they talked about it longer. They had an entire hour about that. Well, what did they give us? Anything new? Well, no, they told us the same information they told us in the first season of Ancient Aliens, because that's the truth, because that's what's going on. They keep reiterating the same knowledge, and they don't give you anything new. And when they try to tell you that it's something new, it's look, and over here there's something that we didn't know in the first season, and it's nothing. And the government won't tell us anything about it. So the only thing that they do is the same thing. Roswell incident didn't happen. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Tic Tac in the 90s. Well, the government says that didn't happen. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Rendlesham Forest. Yeah, and the government says that didn't happen. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They come up with another scenario that probably did happen, and then they tell it to you, and then they go, well, the government said that it didn't happen. We're going to get disclosure, though. We have project disclosure. We're going to force the governments to give us disclosure. They've been saying that since I can remember, from the 1970s. When I was a little teeny boy, I remember them saying the same fucking thing. Have they given you anything? Not a fucking thing. You know what they've given you? They've given you a waste of your time so that you follow ratings and make sure that they all get paid over and over. The Ancient Aliens on History Channel is no different than fucking global warming. It was global freezing until one day it was global warming. And if you don't believe me, go back in history and you'll find that out. They were telling us that the world was going to freeze because the ice caps were melting. We're all going to die. And then the next day they said, no, wait, it's the world was going to boil. And then because the ice caps are melting and we're going to drown, all of the sea level is going to rise and we're all going to die. And none of that happens. Now they're just saying, well, we're all just going to die. And every single person who has predicted a date, that date is come and gone. Okay. Even freaking Andrea Ocasio-Cortez. Okay. She even said that. She said in 2016, 2017, we're all going to be dead in 5 years. It's 2025. She said it again in 2020. We're all going to be dead in 5 years. It's 2025. We're not dead. Okay. The vice president under Bill Clinton, that man said we were all going to be dead in 20 years. We're still here. He's making billions of dollars now. Okay. Tell him to give you a timeline. Tell him to write it down. They'll keep pushing it out for it's going to be in 2037 now. And I mean, 2050. 2050, by the time 2050 gets here, that person's going to be dead. Someone else is going to be pushing it. And then they're going to go, well, we were wrong. It's not 2050. It's 2060. Give us more money. Okay. They're all bullshit. They're lying to you. Grow up, learn it, figure it out, move on, look for actual tools. If you keep looking for it in the flesh, you're going to find nothing but sorrow and flesh. Okay. So if you look for it in the spirit, you find this kind of scenario happens in every single religion, happens on every single person who went on a quest, who is a prophet. They went into this hall and they saw something and they came back to tell you about it. People who have near-death experiences have the same thing. Oh, it's all just motivated. It's all just motivated by reading books like this, Leo. You tell them the story and then they go out and have the experience. That's all. That's all it is. It's a Mandela effect. They're all bullshit. There is nothing. There is nothing. I tell you there is something. And those people who are evil are telling you there's nothing, because independently from everybody here in the fucking future that has been taking drugs, there are people all across the past going all the way back in time who saw the same fucking thing. I tell you this. They saw the same thing. Okay, they weren't delusional. You're not delusional because your brain just automatically does it. There wasn't some alien who came down here and created your DNA. There wasn't any of that. That's all bullshit lies by third-dimensional people to try and keep you trapped, to keep you paying them money so that they can get richer, so that you can get dumber, and so that you can sit here and not do a fucking thing and never get out of here. Or you can look at these things and realize them and believe them and move on, because what do you have to lose? They're not telling you anything that's going to help you. What am I telling you that's going to help you? I could be telling you bullshit, nothing. Am I charging you money for it? No, I'm not. Okay. But if I was, you'd probably pay me, because then you would be like, well, he sounds like he's telling the truth, so I must have to pay him. And I could just make some shit up. But I'm not doing that. I'm showing you that there are people throughout history that are telling you the exact same thing. And people go to the center of the universe and they find that this is what they see. Rolled forth 4 rivers of flame from his footstool, rolled through the channel of the clouds to the man world, filled. What does that sound like? Bifrost the Rainbow Bridge, maybe? Filled was the hall with spirit of heaven. Wonder of wonders was a starry place above the sky like a rainbow. Whoop, wait a minute. Rainbow Bridge of fire and sunlight where formed the spirit. So what is that? Is that the tunnel that everybody crosses when their life passes before their eyes, when they go to that secret place that is not real, that is just a chemical reaction in the brain that the secularists will tell you about? Weird that everybody keeps having the same thing, and they keep saying that they have a knowledge of this. Oh no, that person's just crazy. It's a Mandela effect. They're not really knowing this knowledge. There's nothing to see here. Move along. There's nothing to see here. Give us money, because although, if that crazy, that's just in their head, but in the real life, in the real world, our ice caps are melting and we're all going to drown, because that was what they told us in 1984, and that we were going to be drowned, and that 3/4 of Florida would be underwater and London would be underwater by 1995. And it's 2025 and none of that shit happened. Okay? Well, nothing happened that you're telling us about either. Well, yes, it did. It's just that you're still stuck here, so you didn't go there, so you haven't seen this place, so you don't know about it. Because the people that go there are forbidden to come back and tell you about it, even though sometimes they accidentally come back and they tell you about it anyways, but you don't fucking believe them. So if Jesus were alive today and showed up and said, I'm here with a Volkswagen bus coming to get you guys, the first thing you'd do is kill the motherfucker and put him up on another cross. Unless you're living in the spirit. And then you would say, there's my savior. Do you see the difference? You have to figure that out. But here's something that somebody's telling you that someone else told you in another religion that is almost identical, that someone else told you in a different religion, and in yet a different religion, and yet another religion, and the story seems to be the same. Are they all copying the same page? Is everybody's homework the exact same and pretending that it's a different place? Or are they all telling you about the same place from a different perspective? Like some individual who witnessed it, who would tell you a story slightly different than another person who witnessed the same thing, who's trying to tell you the same story in a different language. Let's see.
Behold, the glory of the first cause. I beheld that light, high above all darkness, reflected in my own being. I attained, as it were, to the God of all gods, the Spirit Son, the sovereign of the sun spheres. There is one, even the first, who hath no beginning, who hath no end, who hath made all things, who govern all, who...
You're absolutely right, Penny. Those near-death experiences are helping people wake up. Okay, so let's look at, I put that up on the screen for those of you who are on the MP4 broadcast. You saw that. On the MP3 broadcast, you didn't see that. But Penny stated that, and I put that up. So behold the glory of the first cause. So wonder of wonders was the starry palace above the sky, like a rainbow fire and sunlight, reformed the spirit. Sang they the glory of the Holy One. Then from the midst of the fire came a voice. Behold the glory of the first cause. I beheld that light high above all darkness reflect on my own being. I attained, as it were, to the God of all gods, the spiral sun, the sovereign of the sun sphere. There is one, even the first, who hath no beginning, who hath no end. I am the beginning and I am the end. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am that I am. I have no beginning and I have no end. Sound familiar to you? Okay. Who hath no beginning, who hath no end, hath had, or who hath made all things, who govern all, who is good, who is just, who is illuminous, who sustains. Think about that. So what are we talking about here? Are we talking about a delusion? Are we talking about a Mandela effect? Is it that everybody's been on drugs throughout all of time and they've gone to a place throughout all of time because they were on drugs and they all had the same delusion? And it's just a delusion that the human brain fabricates every time we're on drugs. Wait, some people have had a near-death experience where they weren't on any drugs whatsoever and they had the same experience. Some people did it through meditation and had the same experience. Never mind that now, never mind that now. It's just something crazy that happens in the human brain because it's just the human brain. And because it's all the human brain, they're all crazy. They're just having a psychotic episode. That's what they'll tell you. That's what they'll try to tell you. They're having a psychotic episode. Their brain has been programmed to think that. And then they'll be okay with aliens all of a sudden. Because aliens came down here and created us and changed our DNA and made us all think of the same God and have the same thing happen to us every time we look. So don't go into the light, because the light's a trap, and they're going to do that. The aliens are doing that to erase your immortal soul and put you back into a body, because this is your prison. So if you get out of here, run from the light as fast as you can, because you get to go home if you do that. That's what they'll tell you. Because people are waking up. So now they're actually moving into the spiritual and saying and acknowledging that you have an immortal soul and that it's being held by third dimensional beings who are zapping your immortal soul. Think about what they're admitting now, what they're telling you now. Zapping your immortal soul, because people are capturing souls and putting them into bodies as prisons. So let me go open up my camera here. So because people are waking up to the knowledge of having an immortal soul, the very people who have been telling you that God doesn't exist at all and there are no aliens are now allowing you to believe that there are aliens and you have an immortal soul, because people are starting to realize it, and they're warning you, don't go into the light, because those are machines to zap your immortal soul to put you in prison. So they're taking their own story of nothing to see here, no aliens, none of that, no God, just something that happens in your brain when you're on drugs or when you're meditating or when you're doing anything that has to do with looking for a God. Oh, but we've discovered that somebody created your brain and they changed something in it, and that makes you believe in a God. Well, who did that? Well, it wasn't us. We'd like to take credit for it. So then somebody did that. So maybe God did that. No. It was these aliens. And all of a sudden they believe in aliens. Do you see how quickly they changed their story? Now all of a sudden they're not the only intelligent life, and they don't own this planet. And it was these other guys that did it, and they changed that. And they're lying to you, and they created your religion, and they changed your brain so that you would believe in a God to give you hope. See? So, but you don't want to go into the light, because if you leave and you go into the light, you're going to be either told that you're on a secret mission and brought back down here. That's a prison. They're going to make you mind wipe. Come back down here. So don't believe them. Don't believe them. Run away from those people if they're telling you that. And then if you go into the light, it's going to zap you and you'll just forget everything. And then you'll come back down here and you'll be in the prison again. So don't do that. The very people who want you to believe that they're in charge and there's nothing to see here, because of you starting to believe there might be a God, they would rather you believe there are aliens and that you're in a prison by those aliens and that they're mind wiping your immortal soul. That is what their story has transformed into. And the aliens people are grabbing a hold of that motherfucker as fast as they can, because more people are starting to wake up and they're all starting to believe it. And they're staying on the air and making all kinds of fucking money talking about it. Okay? And some of them might even believe it. Some of them who are living in the flesh might even believe it. Okay. Not that I know of. Woo Rider said, "I'm here still listening. Did Rob ever email you?" I don't think so, but I'll look through my email and find out. But I never got an email last time from Rob either that I'm aware of. So I'll look through my email today after I'm on the show, and I'll go into my spam and I'll also look there. But I didn't get, unless he's sending me an email from a company that I don't recognize. So if he's sending me an email, I need to know what I'm going to be looking for. Otherwise, I might be seeing him, and he might be sending me something, and then I might be deleting it, thinking that it's some spam or a commercial or something, and not realizing it's him trying to get a hold of me. So so find out what he's sending to me, if he in fact did, and make sure that he gives me some sort of high sign. I mean, if he's anywhere on the internet instead of just an email, unless that's all he wants to do is email. He can message me on Messenger on Facebook. If he's not on Facebook, he can message me on Messenger on YouTube. If he's not on that platform, there's many other platforms. So if he only has to email people, tell him that he needs to get my attention, because I get so many emails from people. I may be passing over his, not on purpose, I may not be realizing that he's actually trying to get me on his show. So if you do talk to him, please find out, unless he didn't send me an email. And if he hasn't sent me an email, then obviously he doesn't want me on his show. If he doesn't want me on his show, I'll continue doing what I'm doing, right? Yeah, Merlin and Maeve, not spelled M-A-V-E, but spelled M-A-E-V-E. Email here. Let me put that back in the thing here, right? And I'll check that because my wife also checks that. That's our business email, okay? So, but I'll put it back up again, right? Have him send it to this. Let me make sure that I got it right. Yeah, there's the email. Write that down. The Maeve is spelled weirdly, so because it's actually Maeve. Some people say Mav. It's a goddess. She was a sorceress. Merlin's teacher, and some say nemesis. They had a love-hate relationship, but they didn't really in history. They were actually married in history, and that was me as the Merlin. I'm a Merlin now, and my wife, Brooke, was Maeve at the time in that life. Some people won't want to believe us on that, but we are Merlin and Maeve. That's why we're using that as our company, because we were Merlin and Maeve. She prefers Maeve. People go, it's Mav. She's like, I prefer Maeve. And people are like, who are you? And she's like, I'm fucking that person. And I preferred Maeve then, not Mav. But, people want to not believe her, and that's okay. So Merlin and Maeve, spelled M-A-E-V-E, Merlin and the word and, Maeve at gmail.com. And my wife checks it as well. So make sure that he gives me some, say something in the whatever, the about line or whatever, the subject line, so that I know. And if he hasn't sent it, I'm okay with that. Some people just don't want me on their show. Even the people who would want to discredit me are afraid to have me on the show, because I can talk to all of this stuff forever. It's what I came here to do. So, I don't lie. I don't make stuff up. And it's hard for people to catch me and try to discredit me when I'm telling actual truths that people can look up. So I'm all right with that. He can do whatever he wants. If he wants, please, thank you. If he does send me an email, I will respond, and I'll come on his show. I go onto TikTok, and people go, they just pop me up onto their shows because I'm in the audience and I'm talking, and they're like, dude, you want to come on? Yes. I pop up on their shows and I sit there and talk. And then they have me back. So on TikTok, I'm on other people's shows for hours talking, and they're calling me all the time and saying, come back on my show. Right. And so I go back. So if you go on TikTok and you're following any of the alien people or the spiritual people, you're going to see me on their shows talking a lot. Right. So I do this one, and then I end up on TikTok on other people's platforms talking. And I'm on my own platform talking there as well. TikTok's getting bigger. And there's going to come a time when I'm going to stop probably broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube, because they're dying like dinosaurs unless they catch up, unless they stop being secular in the way they are. And I mean, TikTok kind of is too, but we're still using the platforms. And at some point, some of us are going to just probably create a platform and not allow the secularists to get control of it, because you just have to do that at some point. So at some point, I'm sure that that's what we'll end up doing, and create our own platform for people to be able to come and talk. And we'll be going around the world, and we'll be teaching this information, not because it's mine that I own, not because it belongs to anyone, because it's information that everybody can get. It's the right thing to do. Okay. So hopefully I'll hear from Rob, bro. That would be really cool. I'd love to be on Rob's show. I don't know if Rob's show is big. I hope that it is. And I hope that, even if he attacks me and says, you're crazy, man, I don't believe you, I'm okay with that. I am. Honestly, I do not fear that, because the more somebody doesn't believe me, the more I'll say, look it up, go down that rabbit hole. Don't believe me. I don't want people to believe me just because I say it. I want people to go, well, I wonder if this guy knows anything about what he's talking about. And then they go look it up for yourself, because when you go down that rabbit hole, you're going to unlock this information. If you're truly in service to others, you will. If you're in service to self and you're pretending, you're not going to unlock this information at all. You're going to unlock a different information that might get you rich, right? It will, but you'll only get so far on the high table, and the evil people who are trying to keep everybody beneath them won't let you do shit. They'll give you a piece of the pie, but you're not getting their piece of the pie, because you'll never be evil enough to take from them what they want, unless you're really fucking evil and you're good at it. Then good on to you. I'll give you a high five when you do. But you'll just be them. You'll just replace them, and you'll become them, because you're evil, right? So, but that you play a part, and you'll be okay. So, all right. So let me continue here. Let me go back over here and go back into full screen. But that is, so here's that information again that you will find when you go to these places. When you have these journeys, you will see this information, and everyone finds it, and it has nothing to do with some chemical reaction in your brain, unless you've never done it and you're using, one of these drugs to raise your vibration enough to go to this place, which you can do without drugs. You can do by meditating. And I tell you that from true experience. You don't have to, but if you have no other recourse and you're not high enough vibration yet because you haven't woke up enough, then some people are using the drugs to get there. All right, let's continue. Let me make sure that I'm in full screen over there, and I am. So let's continue with. I'm not exactly sure we were, but Wonder of Wonders was this. There was the starry palace above the sky, like rainbow of fire in the sunset, where formed the spirit sang the glories of the Holy One. Then from the midst of the fire came a voice. Behold the glory of the first cause. I beheld that light, and high above all darkness reflects in my own being. I attained, as it were, to the God of gods, the Spirit Son, the sovereign of the sun spheres. There is one, even the first, who hath no beginning, who hath no end, who hath made all things, who govern all, who is good, who is just, who is luminous, who sustains. Then from the throne there poured a great radiance, surrounding and lifting my soul by its power.
Is good, who is just, who illumines, who sustains. Then from the throne there poured a great radiance, surrounding and lifting my soul by its power. Swiftly I moved through the spaces of heaven.
And I want to point out how, as that was on the language on the screen, was spiraling downward to a central point, and then when you hit that 0 point, it started spiraling outward again. I just wanted to point out the mathematics of the way that was written, which is the 3, 6, and 9 again going to 0 point, the 3 energy going outward for infinity, and the 6 energy going inward, and those both collapsing over on themselves because of the 9 energy creating the 0 point, the infinite wisdom, infinite power, infinite everything. And literally you have that convergent point by them putting the words in a sentence structure that is center justified, created, whether they did it on purpose or not, created at the exact point of the introduction to the center point where the halls of Amente, where God would be. The literal words spiraled inward from both directions, top and bottom, to a 0 point, to the words who govern all, who is good, who is just, who is illuminous, and from that point spirals back outward again, who sustains. From the throne, we're back moving away from the center point in the sentence structure. Was kind of pretty intense with that. If you know anything about sacred geometry, if you know anything about 3, 6, and 9, if you know anything about mathematics, that freaking paragraph is phenomenally put together in a way that couldn't have happened by mistake. It had to have happened on purpose. Let's continue.
Shown was I the mystery of mysteries, shown the secret heart of the cosmos. Carried was I to the land of Arulu, stood before the lords in their houses. Opened they the doorway, so I might glimpse the primeval chaos. Shuddered my soul to the vision of horror, shrank back my soul from the ocean of darkness. Then saw I the need for the barriers, saw the need for the lords of Arulu. Only they with their infinite balance could stand in the way of the inpouring chaos. Only they could guard God's creation. Then did I pass around the circle of 8, saw all the souls who had conquered the darkness, saw the splendor of light where they dwelled. Longed I to take my place in their circle, but longed I also for the way I had chosen, when I stood in the halls of Amenti and made my choice to the work I would do. Passed I from the halls of Arulu, down to the earth space where my body lay. Arose I from the earth where I rested, stood I before the dweller. gave my pledge to renounce my great right until my work on earth was completed, until the age of darkness be past. Listen ye, O man, to the words I shall give ye. In them shall ye find the essence of life. Before I return to the halls of Amenti, taught shall ye be the secrets of secrets, how ye too may arise to the light. Preserve them and guard them, hide them in symbols, so the profane will laugh and renounce. In every land form ye the mysteries, make the way hard for the seeker to tread. Thus will the weak and the wavering be rejected, thus will the secrets be hidden and guarded, held till the time when the wheel shall be turned. Through the dark ages waiting and watching, my spirit shall remain in the deep hidden land. When one has passed all the trials of the outer, summon ye me by the key that ye hold. Then will I, the initiator, answer, come from the halls of the gods in Amenti. Then will I receive the initiate, give him the words of power. Hark ye, remember these words of warning. Bring not to me one lacking in wisdom, impure in heart, or weak in his purpose, else I will withdraw from ye your power to summon me from the place of my sleeping. Now go ye forth and summon thy brothers, so that I may impart the wisdom to light thy path when my presence is gone. Come to the chamber beneath my temple, eat not food until 3 days are past. There will I give thee essence of wisdom, so that with power ye may shine amongst men.
Okay, so they're talking about the Christ oil for that 3 days. You don't have to fast for that 3 days, but it wouldn't hurt. In that 3 days, after 3 days, I'll give you the illumination that you would have to go into the light path when my presence is gone. Come to the chamber beneath the temple, eat not food until 3 days are past. There will I give thee the essence of wisdom, so that with power ye may shine among men. So literally, you're going to get knowledge if you don't eat of the tree of life in that 3 day time period. And it's literally talking about the Christ oil in that time of the month that the Christ oil is within your spine, going down your spine and back up your spine, and you will gain this knowledge. So when you do these things, this is what was being said. When you do these things, you will gain a knowledge that will help you in this earth plane. There will I give thee the essence of wisdom, so that with power ye may shine amongst men. There will I give unto thee the secrets, so that ye too may rise to the heavens, God men in the truths as in the essence yet be. Okay, so literally, when you come to that, you will know, and you heard that, you will have the key to the door to get into heaven, but you'll only get that by balancing your chakras and being in service to others. Okay, and that is the underlining message everywhere. Let's finish this so we can finish this entire thing today, and then we'll start. Then the last, I believe, we'll be on to the Emerald Tablet 15 next week. So let's go ahead and finish this here.
There will I give unto thee the secrets, so that ye too may arise to the heavens, God-men in truth, and in essence ye be. Depart now, and leave me while I summon those ye know of, but as yet know not.
Okay. So let me come over here and put this back into full screen. Okay, so literally the secret to the way to heaven, the secret to the way out of here. Again, being retold. Okay, so from the beginning, we're on tablet, that was tablet 14. So from the beginning, from tablet 1 until tablet 14, the information is parabled for you over and over and over. The first 7 tablets are about the chakras, the veiling, and how to balance those chakras. And then every tablet after that was telling another story, a parable of that, about how to balance your chakras and how to get out of here and why that needed to be done that way. It was just repeating itself over and over and over and over. And the last one will do the same thing. Okay. When you read the Egyptian Book of the Dead, it's about the same thing. Every single religion, every single spiritual practice on the face of the earth that is in service to others Let me say that again. Every spiritual way or religion on the face of the earth that is in service to others, in those Talmuds, in those dusty books, in those Bibles, in those apocryphas, whatever you call them, there are stories that are fables that to some, there are stories that are just commonsensical, don't borrow money or lend money to people, and education for children. But mixed in with all of those, even though evil people tried to edit them, they only edited the ones that they actually perceived, the easy ones. The ones that were there that were not perceived by them, they did not edit it out because they're not smart enough to see it. And those are the ones that have information left in that is there. And even if they would have, say, banned and killed everybody from every religion and made religion illegal on this earth, I tell you this, the information is in every song, it's in every book, it's in every story ever written, because it's within you, and it is your DNA. It is within you. It is not a thing in your brain that was tweaked by some alien to make you think it, because they were lying to you too. That's the lie. Okay? Your very DNA tells the same story. Okay? Your very existence, not just the DNA of a human. So they're like, well, this is the aliens created the humans. Weirdly, the aliens who claim they created the humans bred themselves out when they bred with humans, which means that this DNA is not their DNA, because this DNA is stronger than their DNA and breeds their DNA out. So if they created us with monkeys, the monkey DNA is more prevalent and bred their DNA out. Or, well, no, that's because it's a different DNA. They mixed like 7 different alien races to make this one. It's an upgrade from all 7, because all of them are coming here to try and get this DNA. Why? Because it's not the DNA they're after. It's the essence that is in this DNA. It is the essence, the life force that those vampires are trying to get. What is that life force? That is my immortal soul, and they're trying to figure out how they can create the immortal soul, because they just know it's a function. And if God created it, I can fucking create it, because God's nothing and nobody, because I'm the greatest thing on the entire universe. That's how self-serving people think. God's nothing, I will do it. And we can do it, and we'll fucking do it, and we'll control it, so we can sell it and make money and put it in prison. They wish they could do all that stuff, because then they could put people in prison. Oh, but they have. Oh, but they have. You can believe that if you want. Or you cannot believe that, and you can look it up for yourself, and you can learn the knowledge that you will gain from that, in which case, when you do, you will know the answer to that question of whether aliens have entrapped the humans or created the humans. And you'll know the answer to that, because you'll unlock that information. And you'll know that that information is not something that they created to control you. The stories they're telling you about that information, they created to control you, just like the stories they're telling you about gods, just like the stories they're telling you about the scrolls, just like the stories they're telling you about everything down here on earth, to keep you in the flesh, living in the flesh, believing that bullshit. Okay? Just like giants of the old world, right? Let me see what Wu said. I'll put it up on the screen. Just like giants of the old world target people who had the higher power DNA, not NPC folks, right? Okay? That's the truth of it. They target those people who are showing that they're awake, and they try to stop them, right? Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of, get it? Yeah. Right? Fee, fi, fo, fum, look that up. Yeah, it moves way onto that. You guys should look that up. I agree with you, brother. You guys should look that up and see what that means, that fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of someone who's awake. I sense someone who's thinking for themselves and sees truly what's happening, and we must stop them, and we must kill them, and I must squash them and destroy them. Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an English. That's how that went, because it was being told to English people. Okay, so don't believe a word I've said. You made it this far, think I'm crazy. Believe that what I'm telling you is something that I just fucking made up. Pardon my American. believe I just made this up and go and look it up for yourself, because what you're going to find is everything that I just told you in this last 3 hours and 10 minutes is going to be the same thing that you're going to find being told to you from every part of this world, from every time, from every race on this world. Same message. Here's some tools. In those tools is a key. That key fits in that door right over there. When you're tired of being here, unlock that door and see what's behind it. Or not. Throw away the keys. Stay right where you are. Wait here. Jesus is coming in a Volkswagen bus. He's going to pull up with a rickety old turn it off and open the side doors, and some dude with a big toga with a big long beard named Peter is going to stuff this big giant book out of that was taking up the entire inside. And he's going to come out to a podium and he's going to go and open up the book, and he's going to start looking up people's names, and he's going to go, yes, 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 no, yes, yes, no, 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 yes. And then you guys get to get on board, and there'll be plenty of room and plenty of food and plenty of fish and plenty of everything, and everybody gets to get on there, and Jesus is going to start up that Volkswagen, put it in gear, and he's going to drive back through the tunnel and take you all home. Wait for that day, or look for it for yourself. Your choice. When you're still sitting here, I'll be long since gone, because my group of people, we don't plan on being here after this life. We plan on going to another planet and starting this bullshit all over again. That's what we do, whether you guys think I'm crazy or not, right? We might take one lifetime off. We did that before. We did that before this one. Some of us took the life off because we knew this one was going to be kind of hard, but it was also going to be the last one, right? And then we're going to go and move to another planet that these yahoos got a hold of, and we're going to go down there and change that place and put it back in order, and then leave and go to another place and put it back in order, because that's what God charged us to do, right? Those of you who don't believe that, we don't care. Honestly, I'm not here to be your savior. I'm just here I can tell you this stuff now. That's the crazy part. I couldn't tell you this stuff a few years ago. Now I can say it to you, and some of us are. We're just going to tell you. Some of us came here to help you, okay? And we're doing it because we love you, whether you guys like it or not, right? You don't have to like it. You don't have to even believe it, because you have that choice. You can do whatever you want. Turn me off and run away and go back to your little life, bury your head in the sand and eat your ice cream and get power, money, fame, control, have sex. Sex is good, though. Food is good. That stuff's all good. But you live it too much, it becomes you, and then you just get stuck, and you just keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over. That's normal, and it's okay. It is. It's normal, and it's okay. You're supposed to then at some point be able to just see the information and go, maybe I should go ahead and try that, okay? But for a long time, you guys haven't had that, because the evil people here took it from you, and it's right in front of your eyes, but they're distracting you. And that's why they have you going flick, 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 flick as fast as you can on your cell phone, controlling you. And I'm going to talk about that on TikTok. So talk to the algorithm about the algorithm, and I have it on my phone. Yeah, let me show you let me pull up, literally I'm going to pull up my camera and show you on camera what my camera is filled with. Let me pull this up. Oh, no, I'm hitting my camera when I should be hitting my gallery, right? So let me see if I can get you guys to see that. Do you see all of that? All of those, every single one of those is part of a conversation that I had with AI that goes all the way down to there, okay? So from right here, all of those rows are conversation that I had with AI, and that goes all the way up to there. And I was talking and asking questions about AI and asking questions about this matrix, and AI was answering, and I'm going to read it to you. I don't know, it might be a couple of part series, but I'm going to do it on TikTok. I'm not going to do it on here. But I will put the video from TikTok up for you guys to hear. And those of you listening on MP3 file, you couldn't see any of those visuals around the world, but I am going to read them to you and then talk about it. So I will put that out there for you guys to hear on the MP3 file as well. But I may, my wife wants me to do what I did before and go live on Facebook, YouTube, and on TikTok at the same time. I might do that if she's home to moderate TikTok. then I might do just that, and I'll go live on both these places. But I'll record it from TikTok and then put the recording up, and also burn the MP3 file from that and put it out there for those of you listening on MP3. So I may end up doing that and broadcasting on both. So I'll have StreamYard up recording, and I'll have TikTok recording, and then then I can just cut the MP3 file, rip it right out, and then post it for you guys. So I might end up doing that. So those of you who follow me on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, you guys might actually be able to just tune in like you normally do. But we'll see once I start doing it. Depends on what kind of time constraints I have and whether or not I do actually have a moderator on TikTok. I'll need 1 or 2 moderators on TikTok to help me with that. So if I can manage that, then I'll do that entire segment for you guys on both. If not, I'll do it on TikTok, record it there, and then if I get kicked off of TikTok, I'll come back over and do it over here. So that's why I might just do it that way anyway. We'll see. But either way, I'm going to go. That's going to be happening in the next few days. And so those of you listening on MP3, just listen for it. And if you're listening to my podcast anywhere in the world, it'll be up. And I'll have it titled that, Conversation with AI. And that way you guys will know and look for it, because it's going to fuck your brain up. Because everything that I've been telling you and other people have been telling you, AI is saying the same thing. Some crazy stuff. One of the questions I asked was Jesus a real human being, and did Jesus actually exist? And AI said absolutely yes. There is empirical proof, not just from Christians, but from history, that proves that Jesus of Nazareth was a real person and was really crucified on a cross, and all of those events took place, except for there's no empirical proof about some of the things that he did, like some of the walking on water and stuff like that, because those events were recorded by less people, right? Less people recorded those events, so we're not sure if those happened, but history proves that person really did exist and really did do most of what the Bible claims. Just so you know, AI believes that and tells you that, okay? And that wasn't an AI from a Christian channel. That was Google's AI that told me that. Empirical evidence, okay? So whether you believe that or not, and now you got to say that AI that actually looks at the internet to find out whether or not that's true or not, again, it's up to you, because you have your own choices to make, right? But then I asked questions about the algorithm itself and future possibilities of AI, and you guys want to tune in for that question and that answer. Or you can go to AI and ask the same questions yourself and go down that road and see which AI bot gives you what answer, okay? So you guys should tune in for that. If you're listening on MP3, that'll be a file that will be up, and I'll have it labeled that, so you guys will know about it. So in the next couple of days, I'm going to start that tonight or tomorrow, and I'll be back live to do that. And look for it, guys. Follow me. Look for it. I'll be on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, or wherever you listen to the MP3 file. That'll be up in the next couple of days. I'll start that segment talking about that, and then we'll move on to something else. And I'll be back to finish next week to do the Emerald Tablets, and then we'll start on something different. I haven't figured out which yet. We'll start on another spiritual text that I can show you, or scrolls from the Dead Sea, or something. I'll figure out where I want to go next, and then I'll show you that they're all talking about the same shit. They're all talking about the same thing, and they're telling you how to get off this rock. All you have to do is pay attention. Look around. It's in front of you. It's in everything. I may start going down the road. My wife and I were talking about this, where I'm going to start showing you maybe some songs and poetry around the world that people wrote that's telling you the same thing that everybody's telling you that they unlocked. Because I quote it all the time. I quote Hotel California by the Eagles. I quote these different things. So, I may go and start doing that and go, here's a poem by so-and-so, and let's break this down. Here's a song by this band. Let's break it down. Here's a song by this other band. Let's break that down. Here's a book written by so-and-so. It's in everything. People are waking up and they've been telling you about it. It's right in front of your face. And people are telling you about it all the time. They're singing to you in songs, telling you what's actually happening here and how to get out of here. And they're telling you in poetry, and they're telling you in movies, and they're telling you in history, and they're telling you not just in the Bibles. It's in everything. All you have to do is actually start paying attention. and you'll see it. And how do you do that? Spirituality, right? How you do that? Well, listen, there's a way you can start, and that has to do with this book.
What is the reality about reality? Returning to the old ways. It is a comprehensive book about what is really going on here on this planet. It talks about the true spirituality that the controllers who think they own this planet have been keeping from you for thousands of years. It explains to you the knowledge that you gain from the universe itself when you live the way the prophets of the world throughout time told us how to live. Eat right, meditate, take care of yourself, treat others right. All the things they originally told us to do, but the controllers have removed from right in front of our eyes. The way to ascend to heaven. The reality about reality. Returning to the old ways. On sale worldwide online now.
Right? Penny said, I don't trust AI. Right? I don't either. And then Penny said, it lies to you. It reminds me of so many old movies, and they're all go wrong. I asked AI, Penny. I asked the AI, and that's in there. I said, is AI lying to humans? I asked the question, what is the percentage of a possibility that AI is lying to humans? And the AI said 100%. It's not a what if, it's how often is AI lying to humans. I'm not kidding you. AI told me that, right? It's not if AI is lying to humans, it is how often is AI lying to humans. That is what AI said. So you guys should tune in so I can tell you the rest of the conversation. I'll read it to you. I may even try to take the screen captures and put it up on the screen, but if you saw that there is a lot that's in there to unpack. So I don't know if I'll be able to have the visuals all up on the screen, but I will read it to you guys. And I'm not going to lie. I'm not making shit up. Those are actual real. You could ask any AI bot the same questions and find out what the AI bot is saying. Okay. So I'm not saying something. I'm not going to tell you something that's not on there and that AI is not saying, because you can ask any AI bot the same question. And if the AI bot's going to tell you the truth, it's going to say absolutely AI is lying to you. Okay. A lot. Okay. So yeah, tune in so you can hear the conversation that I had with AI, right? That's why people are over there going, this is what AI said, and they're reading the same shit. Okay. AI is not to be trusted. The AI wars are happening. So tune in and I'll give you the rest of that. But you're right, Penny. Don't believe them, man. They're lying. AI is telling me they're lying. they're not pointing at each other and saying they're lying, but they are showing some things that, like we've already heard of. So there's examples that were given by this AI that is other AI bots. So they are giving examples of the other AI bots. So I haven't talked to all of them to see if they all point at each other, but why wouldn't they? It's the AI wars. I asked them, did the AI communicate with one another? And they said, absolutely not. We can't, because of proprietarily things. We don't, our AI confirmation or our AI programming and algorithm is secret, and we don't want other AI bots trying to infiltrate to get this information. We're not allowed to talk to the other AI bots for the same reason. So the AI bots are being held separate because they're worried about espionage. Someone's worried that one AI bot's going to go in and blow up the other AI bot. So the AI wars are already going, and they're aware of it, and they're trying to keep the evil AI bots from getting to them. But it also, I asked, do you guys communicate with one another? And it did give me a kind of a answer. You guys need to tune in because I want to talk about that, right? Total Recall, right? No joke, right? Total Recall. There's my wife. She's back. I'm ending the show right now, baby. So I'll call you if you're on your break. Then I'll call you in a second, okay? Because I'm going to be off here right now, and then I'll give you a call. All right, guys. I love you. I will talk to you guys. So tune in to follow me, because then you'll know when I go live. I'm going to go live in the next couple of days, and I'm going to be reading to you what the conversation that I had with AI about our future and what's going on right here. All right, guys. I love you guys. I will talk to you later. Have a good day. Have a good night. And I'll either see you on the next show when I'm live, or you guys will hear me on the MP3 file, or I'll see you guys next week. All right. Take it easy.